we saw Alliance in Season 1. They looked good. They looked so good. They came second and there was no contention. They were not in a tiebreaker. They looked solid, came to the major, Brian, and they were out of the 8. No, that's not true. Out of the 16 teams or something, 12 teams, out of loads of teams, they were the only teams that get eliminated because they were too bad.
I really do feel like Europe going to the major, we've talked about it a bit, that they really stuck to their own play style and thought other people have to beat our play style and we're just going to stick to exactly what we know. But people, I think, figured them out and they kind of underestimated the different ways to play Dota because they've been isolated for so long. And I think Alliance was slow to adjust and they didn't get to play the wild card, so they got the group stage. And by the time they maybe figured it out or had discussed anything, it was too late.
Yeah, they did not adapt. Yeah.
Yeah, in a way, I feel Liquid is actually the best example of that from the major, right? You saw in the wild card, day 1, they had established their playstyle. They said, this is what we're going to be kind of doing. We're putting Koifa on some of these side lane heroes like Viper or Venomancer or something like that. We're going to take over. We're going to play very fast. We're going to defend every single tower because we have only semi-carry, so all of them are online in 10, 15 minutes. We're going to defend every tower. We're going to take your early tier 1s, and we're going to take your triangle. We're going to take as much of the map control as early as possible. And they didn't really stop doing that. Yeah. You know, and they did get, I felt like they kind of got figured out. It was good enough to go through the group stage. It was good enough to be able to at least make it into playoffs and stuff. But ultimately, they weren't able to place that top 8 despite so many matches. And I think that is exactly what Brian was saying, which is we have our play style. We're going to play it no matter what. You have to be able to beat us. And it only takes, I mean, when a playoffs happens, it only takes one team to figure you out.
It really does. And when you're talking about so many matches, because those group stages at the major, they were 3 days and you had, or 2 days, I think, actually. 2 days and you had to play 3 or 4 2-game series per day. That's madness. Alliance, one of the few teams, Brian, doesn't have a coach. And hasn't had a coach since their inception of this iteration.
I think what Alliance and Liquid suffered from is, it's actually palpable for me since I got here and I've been playing against all these players in pubs. It's like when you're in NA, if you're losing, there's games where you need to fight your way back, but you feel like sometimes you get stuck farming. Yeah. Here, there's games where sometimes you need to farm your way back, but you just can't. Like everyone's just running at each other, fighting no matter what. And I think they weren't ready for teams to just, like, so the way Liquid does is they have all these semi-carriers. The way Alliance does it, they have all these beefy boys like the DKs, the Necros. This patch is a little different from last patch in terms of heroes, but the same idea. And if you just don't fight them, what if they haven't played against that in like the last year?
What
like,
do we do with all this time?
These guys all have boots of travel and Midases. You know, what are we going to do about that one? So I think that's kind of just a wake-up call that there's different ways to deal with different strategies. And just because it works against the heavy fight playstyle, it may not work again, just in general.
Yeah. Do you think it's maybe also something to do with during the DPC League, you got generally 1 week to prepare for each match. During the major, you do not. You got no prep time. Like you gotta adapt so fast.
Yeah, it could be that Alliance, maybe that's part of the reason that they did look so good Season 1. I think also part of it was the fact that if I recall correctly, they had some early wins in Season 1 that really boosted their score. Yeah. Right? I think they beat, they ended up beating Liquid, I think later on, but they ended up taking down like Nigma or something like that very early on, or OG actually.
Yeah, no, one of the two, because it was with the Bat Rider and the something else that you just continued. Bat Rider Race King, I want to say, that they just continued getting for the one series, and I think it was versus Team Nigma. It was an important win to get at the start of the season as well for them. This time around, they did start with taking out Team Liquid, so they start out good. They start out strong. Let's move over to OG, their opponents for today, because, you know, we can be very harsh on Alliance and how they performed at the major. But OG didn't make it to the major, and that is worse. Definitely worse, and they were very close to making it to the major. They were in a tiebreaker, and the tiebreaker actually went a couple of circles. It was a three-way tie, and it was Team Liquid that was the team that they could not deal with, but they did, of course, Brian, adjust it since then.
Yeah, the irony of what I said was that other regions are the one going Boots of Travel Midas. I think the only person in Europe last season that was going Boots of Travel Midas was Mid1. Ooh. So I really feel like that enough kind of says he just didn't fit. It's not that he's a bad player. Mid1's obviously a world-class player, but
he's a mid. one.
Yeah, he's one of the
he's a world-class
yeah.
player mid.
Yeah, he doesn't adjusting to the way OG plays is so, like you said, they think of the game so differently at a way that's not what each individual hero does, but what do they do as a whole, like abusing synergies, like we see at TI, all their crazy like IO plus regen strats with Pugna and stuff, and it's just. I think with Ana, it's just too perfect, and I think I loved watching what they did last week. It was just like a reminiscent of TI, and right now, how clean is it going to be? I know I already said it already, but how clean is it going to be? That's the biggest thing.
I think for me, the adjustment from mid one to Ana is the fact that I think in many cases, for me, I feel like this is just actually just almost guaranteed, is that every team needs to be able to have a crazy playmaker who forces mistakes out of the enemy, and then you need somebody who is going to be rock solid for you, who doesn't make those kind of errors, who makes 0 unforced errors, and even when pressured, makes very few mistakes.
I believe this is a great moment to insert clip here.
Oh.
I think we have a slow-mo of Ana and his fountain diving antics. Because when you're
So I was going to lead to that. I was like, everyone's
Never
going to
mind,
say
we don't have that
because
yet,
of
but
the fountain diving, like, oh, Ana must be the crazy one. But I feel like it's actually quite the opposite. Thompson is the crazy one who forces mistakes out of the enemy, and Ana is the one who, despite the pressure on him, makes very few errors. He is their rock-solid carry that goes in through the late game, while Thompson is the one's making all the action. Before, when they had mid one, problem is that mid one's previous play as a mid player, he was the one forcing errors. Like, that's what he was best at. He was that kind of Thompson playstyle. He would go around as an Ember Spirit at level 5, making rotations to side lanes. I'm going like, you're not even level 6 yet, dude. And he's making moves happen. He's making plays happen. And unfortunately, like, as a carry, he just isn't allowed to shine in the same way. And Brian, I mean, you have the most experience of playing carry of many players that I know. Like, there's something fundamentally you have to like want to be a carry player, don't you?
You have to like want to avoid fights when needed, and mid one was just not the type of player to do that.
Yeah,
it's really that simple. I think
it was just a poor fit for him, and I think that's we see that from sometimes these mid laners going into like off lane position, for example. It's just like, fundamentally who you are as a person, your personality as a player shines through in Dota. And making role adjustments can sometimes seriously hurt your play as a result.
It really does. And, we are going to also listen to Saxo, who's talking about how OG is feeling right now.
I would say like all the games are very important. This one too. Like, you're gonna have to give it your all in these games. It's like, as we saw in the last season, like we were like one game away from qualifying like so many times, and like every game is important, so you're gonna treat it like that.
He made it out the first time. Now, all right, down goes the Wish. Focus running back into that. Look at the tips coming out. The Humble God is back.
We feel very, very good right now. We're having fun, like we're enjoying like playing together, so the morale in the team has been like very high all the time. Like, it's been like better than like it's been for the last few months, so I would say like the atmosphere is really good to play in right now.
In fact, yes it is. They went just perhaps a little bit too far, but Ana over here chasing after this Oracle, gets himself yet another kill, turns his attention now over to Stallman, and he's gonna try to get this kill on focus. They're trying to give him a rampage, I'm pretty sure of it, right?
OG is good because I guess the one big difference that I see is like there's a lot of thinking about ways to win, and it's like how to win the game, whereas like when I've played in past teams, like they just focus on items, timings and whatever, but here's like every time you see a chance to get like the winning move, you go for it, and I guess that's the big difference.
Yeah, and the team is also on boot camp, as seen from their social media. I feel like they are feeling very good, and you could tell that from the way they were playing last week already. It's so scary for a lot of other teams at the moment because they look like they were in TI form. Ana is back, and we've seen it twice. You heard No-Tail say it last week. You've seen it before. You're gonna see it again. I mean, this is scary territory. Maybe we have seen Jarek starting to pick up Dota again as well, Brian.
We did just interview Sox, so make sure he gets his word in before he gets the. But I'm just kidding.
No.
What I would say is we talked about how OG is probably one of the quicker teams to adjust to the patch, but I personally think I'd rather face them now than later.
Oh, yeah. I would say so, too. At least now you can maybe still surprise them. Alliance has only gotten one series so far, and they look shaky, so perhaps this time they will be more prepared. They've learned a lot from that one, and Yeah, maybe they can surprise. OG, what do you think, Cap?
Yeah, certainly, but I think it takes I think it takes a certain like very strong hero for. So I was looking back through their drafts, right? It was like game 1 against OG. They had a Timbersaw pickup against a Brewmaster Riki, right? So that naturally felt like, okay, we put this really big problem on the board. OG has to deal with it, and they managed to slide in Nico Baby PA off of that, right? It's like classic Alliance at this point in time, where they put a serious threat on the board to be able to create enough space for Nico Baby to carry through the game, right? No matter like what the roster changes they've had over the last year and a half, that seems to continue through no matter what, is that Nico Baby is just, they always want to be able to play around that card. And I think it's a good idea because he's a fantastic hard carry. The other game being the one where I think they were abusing the IO Weaver combination. And that was like very early on. I don't think they were one of the few teams to pick that up before anybody else did. And we saw at the major, they tried to abuse IO a little bit more, and it just didn't work out for them, right? So, like, they had a key concept for drafting that they kind of built around, that they were able to create problems for enemy teams. And it's important that they figure that out now, right away for this patch. Otherwise, I feel like they're not going to be able to stand up against OG, Nigma, Secret.
And they had a key concept when they were playing up against Team Liquid last week. They went for the DK Necro in the 2 games that they won. I'm curious what's going to happen in the draft, and I'm sure you are as well. And that is good news, because this sound that you're hearing right now is that we are so close to the draft, you can almost feel it. OG versus Alliance after the break.
My feeling about you. Trains don't go to the place I'm feeling without you.
two teams undefeated so far, 1-0. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. One of these two teams is going to take the top spot here at the Western European Upper Division of the DPC League. We got Alliance, we got OG, and we got a glorious best of 3 ahead of us. Moments away from the draft, so you're joining us at exactly the right time for the first game of this one, and we are going to talk about heroes. I know we haven't done that just yet. I do want to start by asking, like, are there any standard bans other than Beastmaster that come to mind? Or are we going to see bans specifically tailored to the teams? We saw Team Secret, for example, just now ban out Invoker and Medusa, specifically tailored to Hellbear Smashers. Are there any heroes that should be banned out regardless?
Well, if you take it from Brain, they banned away Morphling both times.
That's true.
OG, meanwhile, both times they banned away Grimstroke, which I feel like one is specifically about a team, and the other is more specifically about the meta. Right?
Yeah.
Grimstroke, I think, is just overall too strong. OG specifically are able to abuse Morphling more than most because of the fact that they're able to play it safe lane mid combination. I would say, ironically enough, when I remember I was talking about Alliance versus OG, part of the reason OG ended up losing that game, right? It's the game 1, they tried to Riki Alliance, and they did Riki Brame as well. So we'll see if that actually makes a way back into it.
It's a little bit different. It's no longer the Ags Battle Fury Daedalus Ricky, so
Yeah.
it's different playstyle entirely. But yeah, same hero. I think the heroes I'm really looking forward to or looking out for at least, is from Limp. TA, I think, is kind of back on the menu.
Okay.
A lot of these farming mids, right? And that's a Limp special. I think he can absolutely take over the game on Templar Assassin, maybe alleviate some of the pressure of carrying from Nigo Baby. And also the Lina. He's a well-known Lina player, and in response to the TA, I'm kind of looking out for that Tops and Pugna.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen Tops and Pugna. We've seen it a couple times recently, but not really in the last patch at all, because it just wasn't in the meta. But these backline spellcasters, that's what it's all about.
And we saw him play that Pugna in the second game that they played against Brame. He was the only one hitting towers. You might have remembered seeing him like on his lonesome on the map.
He's like, guys, let's end this game. I have 30 MMR.
Well, he was also the only one dying time and time again because he was very squishy. But Pugna is also one of the heroes that we actually have seen a lot on the banned side. So we'll see if that ends up making it through. And you talking about Limp heroes, I think he only gets to play anything other than DK if the DK is banned. They really are liking the Limp DK
They're
at the
just big
moment.
anime fans.
They are.
There's two. They're the main protagonists of their own story, and as we take ourselves into their story, we go into the first round of bans.
Yep, all the Windows updates are done, in case anybody was wondering why we were delayed.
You're ready to take Shiva's job.
Ah,
right now,
I like it. You can keep going with it. Go for it.
I think DK fits their style so well because it's a combination of so many things, right? It takes early towers for you. Naturally, that map control allows your carry to be able to farm more parts of the map. It's a hero that you play around as a 4-man, and it's strong enough in team fights and front lines really well that you can actually win team fights 4 versus 5 potentially, while your carry is just kind of farming away. One thing I don't want to see anymore is Mag Juggernaut. I don't want to see teams give that up anymore. If there's an early Magnus picked up here by OG or something like that, make sure you ban Juggernaut in the second phase. I think that combo is too strong.
Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon is one of the heroes I thought was a sleeper pick for the patch.
Okay.
He's been buffed a lot. That level 1 disruption, 11-second duration. Shadow Poison no longer dispellable if you compare him to like 3 or 4 patches ago. It's pretty insane.
And
That's
a
a
traditional
big
matchup.
combo too.
Yeah,
exactly.
traditional combo. Yeah, the thing I love about Dota, no matter how many years, no matter how many patches, heroes have natural synergies, and you're going to somehow see them wind up together once again. Centaur, we've been seeing it get picked up. What do you know? Heroes that naturally synergize with the Centaur are going to also be more likely to be picked up. Shadow Demon is a perfect case in point. Grimstroke, I really like the bans. I actually thought they were going to first pick the Grimstroke because they banned out the Oracle, who can purge the Inkswell in lane, and then they also banned out the Nyx, who's like a very reliable way to stun up the Grimstroke. So
what do you think, out of curiosity, their counterpick was if Alliance picked up Grimstroke right here, since seeing as they did ban away some of the counters to it?
That there's so many moving factors because I'd have to know like what they picked with Grimstroke. You know, did they pick a combo like Doom, or did they just pick a mid laner that gets Inkswelled? I think you have two options. You either pick to count, like to save against the Grimstroke, or like jump the Grimstroke, or you pick against the guy that's meant to be Inkswelled. Like if it's a Storm Sphere, you'd pick a hero that locks down the storm, for instance.
For the very, very observant people watching at the moment, yes, you do see that correct. Alliance has only got 1 minute and 40 seconds as bonus time, as they have a draft penalty. Just want to point that out.
So it wasn't our fault that we waited.
Oh no, it was not.
Oh.
No.
I was really enjoying listening to BSJ's voice, so
Me too.
I wanted to stall
always
the
do.
draft as long as
And
possible.
Alliance knew that. They heard you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alliance.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you.
Ooh, it's actually OG that ended up banning out the Morphling.
Yeah, Nico Baby Morphling. It also synergizes as one of the ranged carries that benefits from Shadow Demon Illusions. Those things hit like trucks. I think it's like 80% damage at max level. Isn't that right? For Shadow Demon Illusions?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Something like that. I think 50, 60, 70, 80.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Either way, 80% of a lot is a lot. Morphling hits for a lot. Quick maths.
I thought for at this stage of the game, we were going to see a lot more carries banned out because both teams don't have any just yet. And we saw what Anna could do with PL in the previous series that they played.
I'm surprised it's not Alliance banning more carries, mostly because they've already given their off lane.
Yeah.
So apparently they just feel like there's nothing that really threatens this duo
Yeah.
so much.
They banned out the Ember and the Pugna. TA.
Still up for grabs.
Let's go. It's right there. That's
Yeah,
the
but
Last Band
Dragonite's
Viper.
still there.
Last Band Viper. They're ready. Get that Templar Assassin. I don't really like that hero. Like in terms of the patches where it's bad because it takes farm away from the carry. But we've been seeing the Beastmaster. Why can't you do the same thing with a TA? I've actually seen it in pubs, and it owns. You just get the Deso pretty early. You have all the time in the world. They're actually going bottle, so you're able to spam Refraction, and you get early Ancients. And
You have any carry matchups that are a problem, like Phantom Lancer or anything like that?
Yes, like there are issues, but I think if they were to preemptively assume, like, okay, if we're gonna pick TA, then like Centaur deals with illusion carries decently, especially in lane.
Yeah. No, certainly. The double edges. A hefty hit against some of these high agility heroes. And not much that Phantom Lancer would really be able to do against Retaliate Max.
Yeah, likely like a Lifestealer, right? For OG. Maybe they're not as simple as we see all these other teams. You see Grimstroke, you see Centaur, you pick Lifestealer. Okay, I think Lifestealer is looking a little too good here. With the ET, you think of Drow, Luna. I actually think Luna comes to mind here, right? You have the Shadow Demon, ET.
Yeah, it doesn't match up with the Grimstroke. Are we talking about?
Oh, so I'm talking for Alliance
Okay.
Luna here.
Yeah, OG, I was looking at them and I was trying to think about, like, okay, what carry do you want? Juggernaut doesn't feel that good because of Shadow Demon, but you still want a carry that is able to use Inkswell because that is going to be your combo in lane.
What are the odds that this is a mid-Grim 5 Faceless Void?
I would say mid-Grim might not be too far out of left field. If it's 5 Faces Void, I'm not too sure about that one.
I don't think No-Tail has practiced that. I know Southeast Asia. I know Dubu was playing it as well. Like
Dubu
there
won
are
8
certain
games in a row.
There's certain people who do try these very experimental fives. I'm not sure if No-Tail has tried it out.
But
in pubs yet.
when you look at like Centaur as an offlaner, do you think I want a Faceless Void as
No.
a carry?
No, I don't.
Especially not against a Shadow Demon who can save people inside the Chrono and Elder Titan.
Wow! They go for the DK,
Oh, what
the
a
first
surprise!
DK pick of the series for Alliance.
Man, that Faceless Void is really looking like a 5 position.
It is.
Invoker pickup. Okay, so that's always...
It's a 5 Void, just setting up for that Axe Voker.
Yeah?
Offlane Grim.
Maybe
Why
you'll
is
even
fi-
get the shard on Invoker.
Why is 5 Void a thing?
Time dilation
Yeah.
does damage. It's just the one spell that's been buffed in a relevant manner.
Okay.
Basically, in order to make a 5 position work, you need to either have way above average stats, which is where
Death
a lot
Prophet
of people
from
were
last
doing
patch.
last patch, right? Yeah, we saw like people try Brewmaster, Naga Siren. There's like a long list. Or you need one like really OP basic ability usually. And
Like time dilation.
time dilation is very broken. As if you just put that ability aside, that
The concept of it is quite strong. The level 4 cooldown, I think, is 16 seconds now. It's really low. It's like 16 or 18, and the duration's, I think, 11. So the uptime is pretty nutty. And now it also does damage based on how many abilities you have on cooldown. Just in case Kyle's watching, just make sure he knows the patch notes.
He's actually already in the car. He's driving.
Oh,
True.
They'll have
GG.
to message him that one later. All right, they're going to ban the Phantom Lancer on the side of OG. Alliance are going to take away some offlaners here. What's really problematic for them that's left? Necrophos, would that be any good? Maybe that's not enough playmaking potential.
you do need a dangler. Timbersaw was a nice dangler.
Yeah, for sure.
Dangler, as in a person that will go in first, like
Yes, you have all these like
protocol?
DK stuns, Centaur stuns, Shadow Demon. Like there's a lot of damage threat and initiation from Alliance. And right now, nobody on OG wants to be in front. Nobody wants to go in first. Earth Spirit even is usually a follow-up or a counter initiation. So Void, he doesn't want a front line. He doesn't have a save. There's no Oracle with him or anything, Abaddon. So you definitely need that beefy boy that will force these spells on him. I think you just can't pick Necro, though, because of Shadow Demon.
Oh,
That
yeah, you're
matchup's
right.
pretty unplayable.
Yeah, that matchup sucks.
Saves against your Reapers and the constant purge against your Ghost Shroud. What is it, though?
So, any of the like ranged ones besides Necrophos, Viper, Venomancer, Razor, any of those heroes work
I
here?
don't think it's crazy if they just go like Nature's Prophet. I know I said like a Dangler, but he's a guy that like the way you can build to just TP in with a BKB on.
You okay with that against ET?
Doesn't it lane pretty well, or is that bad?
I mean, it just kind of goes back and forth, right? You can get punished at level 1, but if you get to level 2, then you're able to reset a little bit more.
Okay. They also lack tower pressure. That's why he came to mind. On the side of OG.
they ban out the Darkseer last.
But it is an offlane Grimstroke, 5 Void.
That
course.
could still be
That narrative
the
is still
case.
possible. I'm living in my own little world here.
Yeah, well, we'll see if OG is joining you in that little word within 35 seconds. They still got 25 seconds left in their bonus time, of course.
Yeah, 25 more seconds than Alliance did because they draft penalty.
Let's see. I mean, they have still got their ways open. We've also seen Topson play Earth Spirit mid. That's also still an option. Well, he's preparing. They know what they want. They want
There it
Bloodseeker.
is.
Oh.
Carry Bloodseeker, offlane Grimstroke. 5 Void.
Brian's broken it. He's broken the meta.
That's not a Dangler.
No.
So they are...
But it is a hero that pumps damage into Chronosphere, which is the one thing that I like. That was part why I wanted a ranged offlaner. Also, the fact that you have to deal with ET in lane. So typically, ranged offlaners are able to deal with that a
You have
little
the
bit
kick
better.
synergy with the Rupture. Or Spirit Kick.
Yeah, you do have that. It's just like they don't have this initial hefty amount of damage that makes Bloodseeker feel really good.
Yeah, it gets that initial bolster of,
Yeah,
200 move speed.
unless the Earth Spirit's getting some amazing roll in or something,
Life Stealer.
Juggernaut.
Okay, yeah. I was just thinking Magic Immunity. that's
just
that's
one
all
of the
I was
two,
thinking.
right?
Because, yeah, you have the pure damage coming out from the Cataclysm in the future as well as the Bloodseeker. But you have the Shadow Demon Disruption, which was, I think, kind of weird that OG all-in a combo when there was already a save drafted. And ET is a great combo breaker as well. Now that especially the delay on Splitter is now E rather than Pi, just slightly lower. So I'm going to stop memeing now. I actually like Alliance's draft a bit better just because OG's is really high execution threshold. But if there was a team I trusted to pull it off, it would be OG.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly that. You say wombo combo. If there's any team that we've seen indeed being on the same page, Cat, OG.
It's incredibly execution based because they need Soxa. Like Soxa's performance here is going to be really important because the likelihood of you getting a Chronosphere on the Shadow Demon, let's just say that's not going to happen. All right, something has gone wrong if that does happen.
Yeah.
Right? So FNG is going to be playing around that fact. It's up to Soxa to be able to hunt that back line. He's actually got to be able to get in an initiation at the same time as the Chronosphere to stop that disruption. Otherwise, your whole combo goes out the window. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Juggernaut was a good choice because it's less harmed by the Bloodseeker anti-kiting compared to the Lifestealer, and I agree with BSJ that like nice magic immunity is really good here. So
Okay. I think we're in for a fun one.
Yeah.
We got win conditions, as people like to call them, on both sides. And we're just going to see who is executing the better game plan. We're heading over to our commentary duo of Moxie and Fogged.
All right, Fogged. Well, it feels like there's an awful lot of pressure that's going to be placed on Soxa this game. Do you think that he's going to be able to do it? Can he hunt down the Shadow Demon, or is that Shadow Demon just going to be too elusive for him?
He's a really good Earth Spirit, so I do have some confidence in him as we look at the drafts, and it really looks like you're solid, you're stable draft that looks like, you know, you kind of know how this draft wants to work. The Jug with the DK, this nice push that comes together, nice traditional stuff. OG, it's chaos. There's a lot of battling, a lot of team fight, and that's exactly how OG does like to play. So I'm looking forward to just lots of fighting in this game.
Well, it's always been a lot of controlled chaos coming out from OG. That's how they thrive. They were born in it, and they will definitely give us a good show. But can see already they're hunting around a little bit.
Yeah, and we're seeing immediately off the bat some different kind of item pickups. I think they're already recognizing this bottom lane for Seb is going to be tough. He's getting boots, so he can be a little bit speedier than that Juggernaut. Perhaps maybe he's going to get involved with cutting waves with Soxa. I see Soxa actually went Orb of Venom, so that tells me he actually wants to play a little bit more about like fighting and active rather than pulling waves. A lot of times we see boots on Earth Spirit when they're more reliant on pulling, so I think he's going to be moving a lot to secure the top lane in particular, like the Earth Spirit, the Grim, and the Void. They're going to try to get kills early on, and they just might actually leave Seb to his own devices alone bottom. We'll see how it does develop. As runes being checked.
Time for that dance around the mid lane area here, but looks like they'll get a couple hits off over here on Ana.
They get all of them.
And Alliance, they are
Okay.
hunters of the bounties.
And that's how you get him, FNG. Oh yeah, rub it into you. Got all 4 bounties. You're gonna force him chat wheels right off the bat. I love it.
I mean, they are facing off with the team that is extreme mental warfare for sure. So you know, you gotta get those little jabs in when you can, right?
Yeah, you gotta match that. So I mean, definitely like seeing that, and I'm glad we're actually seeing a couple heroes that I did want to get to see played by some of these better teams. You know, Shadow Demon getting some pretty significant buffs. His illusion actually lasts 11 seconds level 1 from 8 seconds. It just continues getting buffed till Ice Frog sees this hero played a little bit more. We get to see Void carry too. I'm looking forward to some big combos coming out from OG, but yeah, we'll see.
Definitely.
So yeah, look at Seb. With the boots level 1, he actually kind of blocks the wave bottom so that it can try to push into him. We're going to see Nico Baby do the same, try to block that dire creep so it doesn't land in his tower. And they are going to start tri-lane top. So kind of as we figured that they would do that. Since Void is really weak, they want to get a good start off.
The real question is then, you know, are they going to already... I have a feeling like Alliance, they're already going to think that this is going to happen, right? Especially when they don't start showing up. Seb's obviously, you know, getting bullied here by FNG. I feel like they'll play a bit more cautiously, yeah?
They have to. They don't want to be giving up like any kills. You want to keep this tri-lane as low level as possible. So Hans can just sit behind, you know, get those disruptions off to protect S4. And this can play out pretty decent. Bottom though, Seb is going to get something. So we're going to watch creep manipulation. Nico Baby meeting the melee creeps, and this will be our new bottom lane in the jungle right here.
I do enjoy when they start making their own lanes. Although
same.
does make you wonder, how do you play this now? How do you move around?
Seb's life is tough because they met that creep wave. The camps are all kind of like blocked around too. He's not dying though, and he shouldn't really die too much down here because it's a stomp to set up for a spin, and he's speedy. He can even just TP if that, you know, that's the way that it does happen if he times it properly. So he'll get something down here.
He's doing the best that he can, that's for sure. I'm surprised that we're not seeing more happen in that top lane though.
Yeah, they keep trying. They keep trying to get the kill set up, but Alliance just at the ready, and Hanskin, he's actually scouting the right side, so every time that the roll comes from Soxa, he's just like telling S4 like immediately, just watch it. They're doing well. We see mid, nice matchup for this DK versus Topsons, Quas Wex. Big DK just gets bottle and he'll just be able to sustain just fine. Actually win the matchup for the most part.
I am a little bit disappointed that we don't get to see that TA that everyone was talking about over on the panel. Starting to get really hype. I love this patch though, because we're seeing a lot of heroes that, you know, previously we haven't seen much of before.
Yeah, it is definitely nice, but yeah, Alliance they stick with their guns. Olymp, he's been winning a lot on the DK. They did pretty good. They did decent with it at the major too, so they're just comfortable with this hero still, and even in the last few games that they did play.
Just the power of anime right there, you know.
Yep. I think he actually lost almost. I think he had like a 20% win rate at the major, but that's beside the point.
Let's not talk about that. This is a fresh new game, okay, Fog? Let's do him a solid. Roll forward though, coming out from Soxa. They did get a bash up, but again, they have the disruption that'll be able to protect.
Very nice stuff. Lane control, you know, Centaur's still not really getting a whole lot. OG, it's all going to be up to if they can get these pullbacks in the lane. Notel, he's going to try. Hanskin has to interrupt this one, otherwise that'll be quite a bit of denied experience. And it's just going to allow them to go for more kills. As yeah, they'll get that side pull off, so that's going to be nice for the two supports of OG.
They definitely have to find some ways of getting themselves some of that experience, some of those gold if possible as well, and just trying to make space again for Ana this entire time. They really have to secure that farm.
Yep, and then you just look at Seb and you're like, all right, Seb, how you doing? Seb's like, hey, I'm not dying. And you're like, all right, good job, Seb. Continue doing your thing down there. You know, you're versus Jug. He's denying pretty much every creep, but you're not dying. You're getting some levels. We're decently happy with this.
I mean, he's got 4 last hits. That's pretty decent considering what he's up against, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely not, you know, the ideal situation, but, you know, again, he's not dying, and that's kind of what it is. The roll forward, though, they do have their eyes on Hanskin this time. Stomp comes through. They did have the disruption, but Saksa will happily take that kill.
Nice. I think this is just what has to happen. You know, OG, they drafted themselves. It's an Invoker and Void. We have to be honest, just what it is. You know, Invoker in laning phase, he's always going to struggle just because of the nature of the hero. Void, same thing. He's going to struggle. So the lane setups for OG, it's appropriate. And Alliance, they are leading because of that. You know, we see that 1k advantage from those 4 bounty runes that they started with and just having a DK and Jug free farm.
It is what it is, but you do see that Seb had to go walk on home, grab up some stuff, gets a little bit of regen again, but get a nice pull off here on the side from No-Tail. It's been fairly calm for the majority of this early game.
Yeah, it's going to be a quiet one. And I think it's just going to be Hanskin who really dies. Like, if he just steps out of position, that's when they go on him. Because they're not really looking to go for S4. Because Hanskin's going to be the one who always bails it out. They want to just get on that SD in the top lane.
Right. Well, the urn is now completed here for Thompson. So, seems to be going fairly well for him right there. But
Seb is just... Yeah, he's struggling even more so now. Now, he's kind of stopped getting any levels. FNG's level 3 with boots and with an Orb of Venom, so he's got level 2 Spirit. He can actually just zone Seb by himself now at this point.
that definitely feels bad. He's still sitting at level 3 here.
Tips him.
Again, you gotta have those mind games against them.
Of course. They're going to hit you back with it at some point in this game, so...
At some point, this game cracks wide open, and there's just complete and utter chaos all over the map. Let's be really honest here, but for the time, you know, Alliance is taking the wins that they can get and trying to put some of that pressure down and just, you know, throwing out the tips and the pauses and whatnot.
It's like it's full cruising game right now. Like, look at the limp mid. He actually is 202. He's level 6. Hasn't skilled ult. Hasn't skilled his stun just yet. His top Hanskin.
Yeah, they go. They missed the roll, but it's all right because they still managed to get the kill again on Hanskin. Trying to use the disruption as various. Look at these body blocks coming out here. I mean, Centaur is really tanky right now. But not quite enough damage from the 3 of these as No-Tail has taken a lot of damage. Is going to have to use the salve and heal up.
No bashes for the Humble God. I think if they even get 1 there, they might get the kill onto the Centaur, but...
I mean, it's difficult once he gets that Vanguard online. Another roll forward, though, coming out from Sox. They realize that S4 is so very low. Nice stop, but they go forward again. Nice disruption coming out from Hanskin. Buys him a little bit more time. They would really love to get this kill, but I don't think they have that damage, and they don't want to dive this tower.
Just slightly off the mark. It was actually like instantly as that Inkswell had. If he threw on the Earth Spirit, very likely they get the kill, but Hanskin, he guesses right on which hero it will be.
Look at Seb. He's trying to get whatever he can get out of this lane. He's got himself an Invisor, and he's just like, yes, maybe I can get some XP here. But the denies are real coming out here from Nico Baby as well. So it's
34.
It's a hard knock life.
It's an absolute free game for the Jug. So Nico Baby, we'll see what he can turn it into. It's already 2k gold advantage, even though OG does have these 2 kill setups. So we see how that actually does play out when Seb is just completely zoned bottom. You look at XP as well. They're leading in experience even by 500 because they have a tri-lane and they have a Bloodseeker nearly fully zoned.
There's 36 denies on this Jug.
Yeah.
That feels
That's what you want to see.
That feels so bad for Seb. Can't seem to get
levels
much
of denies
anything.
From back in the day.
Slow coming out here over on S4. Hanskin already in position, though, if they try to make any moves.
He's soon at unkillable point 2. He's about to have his Vanguard finished up. 40 gold for S4. It's a lot of magic damage, though, that they do have in connection in that top lane. And there is a Chronosphere now at the ready for Ana. Or Humble God, sorry.
I know, it's a struggle because you see him, you're like, oh, that's Ana, but at the same time, his name shows up as Humble God and you're torn. Do you use Humble God? Do you use Ana? Which one?
We'll wait for the situation. We'll see which one calls for it.
There
which
we
name.
go. There we go. Bottom, though, the stomp comes out. Nico Baby is going to spin around here. This is not looking great for Seb as he just eventually will fall. Mid lane.
Only dying the once, but eventually he has to go down. Just stepping a bit too far up. Limp. He's now used the dragon form. Thompson was trying to burn his mana. He instantly popped that one. Can he actually poke onto the tower at all? Looks like they're actually swinging the 2 supports because that DK form was popped. They want to prevent him from actually hitting the tower at all, and maybe even just kill him and then allow Thompson to start getting those earn charges so he can maybe look to move around.
Smoke up from
Not
the
quite
side of
able
the
to.
supports. They're going to spot out those beautiful stacks, and now Hanskin. Disruption comes out. Humble God is, of course, here. So they'll throw out the Stroke of Fate. They put the Silence over into the centaur, so he can't immediately stomp, and they haven't quite managed to get the kill. But you know what? They'll use a Chronosphere. Why not?
It's going to be a slow-paced start for them. They know the way, they drafted so greedy. They know that they can just throw a Chrono out like that. It's going to be up to Alliance to punish.
Oh,
and now Seb,
Seb's
he
so
finds his
happy.
purpose.
He's been waiting for this moment, and look, we even get those dropping of the neutral items from these nice stacks, and Hanskin just has to cry about it because there's not much they can do for now.
Yeah, it was a dream. Honestly, the dream for Seb is
courier?
he's level 5. He's still poor, but he at least has some good levels going for him. And they're always going to have the power of, Panel did talk about it, that Rupture plus Kick combo, but also double Rupture, Moxie. They have the Grimstroke with it, so
They do
some
indeed.
fun stuff that they can do in the game.
Turn this into a full-on game of football, but Limp, he was trying to get that rune over there, but now he's not going to have any mana. And they'll put a little harass onto him, but he is a Dragon Knight, so he's going to be just fine.
Not the easiest lanes for, Thompson doesn't really have phenomenal places to be able to move to gank. It's a 1600 near HP Centaur, a Juggernaut with built-in magic immunity, and a super tanky DK. So yeah, it's going to be a little tough for him to make the right move to catch any of these heroes, as Alliance now will start their pressure with this 3k gold advantage, even though they're 3-1. Or 1-3, sorry.
I feel like they've made the right choice, though, by making this rotation. Seb does have to be careful. The stomp comes out. S4 waiting patiently. Nice silence, though, coming out
Nice
from
silence.
Sox as they go. They drop the blood right. Seb on the hunt does have that ink swell on, but there's a lot of people coming in, and they'll follow up. Nice disruption coming out over onto the side. The stomp gets landed over onto Seb. They'll have to go. They use the Stampede. They want this kill on Seb, as Sox is just trying to juke around in the trees. He's trying to stay alive, and it's looking pretty darn good as they get the kill on FNG. They're going to turn this around now. They have Thompson making his rotation. The roll forward coming out from Soxa again. Good stomp over on 2. Can they get the kill? That was the question. It's not looking like they can because they pop Stroke of Fate. Ixwell will seal the deal. And that's a dead S4, but Limp finds a little bit of space here in the mid lane using that dragon form. So he'll put some damage on the tower, put a little damage on Thompson too while he's at it. I don't think he's going to be able to get the kill, but he might be able to take the tower.
They're rotating the 2 supports quickly with this smoke.
EMP coming down after the tornado. No tail throwing out the silence, but they end up just backing off because the Elder Titan has also made his own rotation here to the mid lane.
Nice little hit there by Limp. Rather than making the move toward top, he accepts that fact, takes the mid tower. And OG, although they get some nice trades up top, Alliance still in a very happy spot. I think OG, the next biggest thing that they need to wait for is really Thompson having this vessel. These tanky cores are just too big of a problem. They really need that little bit of extra damage and health reduction.
Well, he's getting very close to it, so I don't think we're going to have to wait too long, as Ana, again, has made his rotation to the bottom lane. Didn't want to have to deal with that. Just going to place a little pressure on that tower.
They're also, they actually have Veil finished up too. So Seb, even though he was in one of the worst positions possible, kind of felt like for off lane, he was still getting a little something and not dying. So he can amp up his teammates a lot. It's majority magic damage coming out from his side. So that Veil is going to prove some purpose versus these very, very tanky cores that Alliance does have.
I mean, the stacks that the Shadow Demon made early on, they were able to clear it. They've also blocked the camp now. Or rather, not block the camp. I'm sorry. That's the I ward spot there. Still getting used to seeing that on the minimap. But, they were able to get this nice little unexpected gift. Yeah,
the blink from Limp.
Got their eyes over here on Thompson. They get the stomp off. He's trying. He's going to be able to maybe teleport out. I don't think they have anything to cancel it at this point. So he'll survive. It was a nice move from Alliance, but not enough.
That was so clean. He Tornado EMPs Hanskin, so he doesn't have mana for disruption, and then TPs. That was sick.
There's
Sox at top.
The Rupture, the Stampede. It's not going to be enough S4 because they definitely have your number. Down you go. The TPs were coming out, and they have to cancel them now. Bottom lane, Humble God poking away at Nico, baby. That's a pretty big win, right? You get the teleports that started going there, and those are expensive now, unless you're dying a lot, which is also not great.
Nice
Ana?
shoots from OG as Humble
Oh,
got.
look at that damage! Oh, very nicely played here by Alliance.
He did not see that one coming. How many stat points does Nico Baby have? I see he's 4-1-1 and he's tanky. I think he's put quite a bit of points in stats this game.
Yeah, he's got the 2.
At least 2.
Roll forward on
Satsa.
Hanskin, kick back over there, but they'll follow up. They have the Grimstroke ulti though. Seb joining right in with the blood right place down on the ground. It was a nice stomp though coming out from FNG, but not enough to save Hanskin. No tail, maybe just a little bit too far out of position now. He's going to fall as S4 gets the stomp up, but Thompson is here now. Oh, the follow-up though here from Limp FNG. They just put him to bed over on the side. They do have the vessel completed though. S4 not looking super great, but I think he's going to survive this. They consider going back in again. They have some vision. Limp gets ruptured here by Seb. He's chasing after him, has a blood right down. He's pretty speedy right now, too. Does have to be a little bit careful. S4 can't do anything to really help him as he dives into the trees. Does have that hit, though. Can they get it? Oh, the Chronosphere coming out at the last second. They'll kill Limp. They'll be able to get the kill on S4. They'll turn back around. They spy themselves an Elder Titan. Although they did have the disruption coming out from Hanskin. So Ana just he's a little bit too far. It was a good disruption. Seb, too, perhaps a bit too far as well. Should be able to teleport out as the rest of the team. They're looking. They see FNG. He's ticking down to that Spirit Vessel. Roll forward, plus the Inkswell should be able to clean him up. As Hanskin, I don't think they dive this tower, but I'm sure he's a little bit spooked from the whole thing.
Typical in typical OG fashion, just 10-4 somehow with some long cooldowns and everything. They're still able to just take these crazy fights. Alliance still comfortable because Nico Baby is just chilling. Gets a free kill onto the Ana, that Void. Ana goes top, dies immediately afterwards when he gets the kills too because he commits the jump. Still feeling pretty good, probably, if you are Alliance. Although OG is causing quite a lot of chaos with their draft that we know it does scale. It can scale to some crazy potential with this Invoker and Void.
I told you, the name of the game is Controlled Chaos for OG. It looks absolutely ridiculous from our side of it, but they generally have an idea of what they want to do. It just always looks a little, I don't want to say questionable to us, but we don't see the master plan sometimes.
It's just space, you know. All these crazy moves. It's just space at the end of the day. As Seb, you know, even though he was like down and out of the game, he's only 500 behind Centaur somehow. He's got Veil, he's got the Fairy's Trinket, and he's always gonna have a purpose with Rupture this game. We see that big damage, how good it can be actually versus those tanky cores.
This could be a big fight here. We've got quite a few heroes over in the mid lane. Smoke comes out, immediately pops on Nico Baby. Seb standing over in the corner. Benji and Limp also spot out.
Nico Baby actually looking to get more involved now. He's level 13. He's got 3 points in the stats, so he's got plenty of that. And Seb.
Immediate blink forward. They might be able to just take Seb right out of this equation. Right here, right now, the spin comes out, and down goes Bloodseeker. This is looking like a pretty nice engagement here as they do have the smoke up. Ana has to be a little careful, but they'll turn back around again. Ana looking for an opening here. They should be able to get the kill on FNG. The follow-up, though, here from Limp. They get the soul bind off, but they get the nice jug bounces as Ana almost goes down. Not quite enough. S4 jumping over onto the back lines, though. So they'll be able to take down Ana. Disruption coming out, buying them a little bit more time because they'd love to get a kill on Thompson as well. And Thompson, he just doesn't have the HP. Alliance hits hard and fast here.
I love that play, too. Like, it looks kind of crazy with the way FNG's just running up the high ground, but he knows there's no Bloodseeker. Chronosphere's still on cooldown for some time. He knows how powerful they are with this early game. With this small little advantage with the heroes they have, they can charge into high grounds like that. Nice moves coming out from Alliance.
Hanskin not aware that No Tail's hiding behind this grouping of trees, but you know
He's
who does
Nico
know
Baby,
it is Nico Baby. Yup. Disruption, the spin. There's nothing that Soxa can really do here, so he's going to have to watch his teammate go and fall.
This Jug is tremendous. He's got a Manta finish near 10k net worth at the 17-minute mark. These are some crazy numbers he's pulling up right now.
He had an awesome lane. Yeah, you can see here.
Free lane.
There's already
Nico?
action going down yet again, but Nico Baby again, he can just spin and teleport out. No problem. They don't have any way to cancel that at this point in time.
Yeah, it's just the chrono he really has to watch out when he goes for those spin TP. So yep, he was chilling as they continue to look to invade. FNG always on the charge here with this blink Limp behind him. S4 not having the blink, but somehow he's just seeming to get the wraparounds anyway.
Good positioning for sure.
He's just tanking up. He's got a hood now on top of Vanguard. I don't know if they're gonna have enough damage on OG unless they contribute unless they put everything onto him.
Seb just waves hello and says, yes, please help yourself to murdering your kinsman over here. I won't disturb you. Doesn't want anything to do with him.
No, definitely not. They have to get to the back lines. OG, they always have to be able to find the Shadow Demon in particular. Just get onto him and just try to avoid these bruisers. This Centaur and this DK are going to be quite a big wall they have to deal with on OG.
Yeah, for sure. A couple of the runes getting picked up here. Limp bottling him. Oh, gets himself the regen, and Seb, of course, has that illusion.
All right,
But
so
we're
it's
getting
all
close to
about Ana
Axe.
as we get to the later stages. Solar Crest now built from Thompson. We used to see this style from him a lot as this Quasquex. Just goes for like one, that urn/vessel kind of thing, and then he goes all about buffing up the Void. And then maybe we'll see him transition into Ags later since he does have Chrono, but this mid game is all going to be about Alacrity, Solar Crest on Ana for the damage.
Oh, look at this tasty stack that Nico Baby's taking advantage of now. I believe it was
beauty.
untouched earlier. They didn't have the damage to kind of deal with them, but you can see now, Alliance, they're rotating to protect him. They sense that something's probably coming up soon.
He put another point in stats, by the way, a fourth point. Now he's putting more points in Healing Word since he does have that talent picked up. So, but yeah, he's just opting for that rather than the crit. This is something we used to see from Jugs back in the day. Back before your abilities were actually really good, always those stats would be more valuable than the Blade Dance. Usually used to be because you had limited mana, but he still feels like that 5% chance is not going to be better than him just having just some more stats.
Gosh, it's so much fun, like right after you get these patches to see what different people are trying to build.
Yeah.
And just realizing, like, especially like, it almost feels circular, right? Because sometimes, hold that thought,
Thompson.
Limp blinking forward, dodges right away. So he jumps over onto Thompson, the sleep is out. The double edge, Limp just gonna poke away at him, but they do have the disruption, they do have the sentry ward as well. This is not looking great for Thompson. Hunskin will collect a kill.
Alliance having, it's looking like a really solid game. Like OG's just, it's starting to get to that point where it's just too difficult. They don't have their own like straight initiations. Their initiation is an Earth Spirit rolling in or the Void full committing. So Limp with this blink has done God's work for his team.
So close to finding that one ward over there on the side. I think that one should catch it, yeah, right on the corner. They're gonna kick in a couple of these rocks though. Have to be careful. Limp, of course, patrolling. Seb over here on the high ground does start off with the Rupture plus the Silence. In comes Ana, gets off a nice Chrono Sphere. They'll hook them up together. Disruption comes out though, buys them a little bit more time as Ana tries to hit over. They drop that Earth Sphere in the middle of everything though. And now OG forced to run away. They're not feeling safer as Seb gets hit with the Dragon Tail. Nico Baby turns back around. Well, someone's gotta hit him. Hunskin's gonna be the one who does it. And they'll go chasing in again, but with one person down and the buyback coming out now from the Bloodseeker, it seems like Alliance is satisfied with that. Chronosphere is also down. I don't know. Smoke up. They're going to be engaged.
Alliance.
Smoke immediately popping. They get the stomp off over in the pit. Blood right, roll forward again over here. They find S4. They're going to have to turn their attention now over to Nico Baby, but they're not going to be able to quite get over there quite in time to get a nice ink swell off. But oh my god, look at the damage coming out here. Ana, he's got to be so careful. He's actually going to just get run down by Nico Baby if he's not careful. Does have the time walk available over on the backhand lines though. S4 does eventually fall. They'll find the kill on FNG. He's going to buy back. Limp now needs a bit of assistance. There's a lot of heroes here. Ana coming right back in, but it's Thompson who finally takes him out. And now Nico Baby roll forward. Nice sleep coming out, buys him just a little bit more time. Can they get the final hit off? Yes, Thompson with the clicks will be able to slay. Lots of buybacks though. Limp jumps forward. He's had enough, but somehow Ana's still alive, somehow still managing to dodge about. Thompson's still alive as well as he throws out a beautiful deafening blast. He has got a run. He's got 120 something hit points and they are hungry for his blood.
Seb. He walks back in.
He does go back in, but you know what? So does the rest of the team. They're there. Drop that blood right again over onto the ground. They're stunned up. It's a nice sleep again coming out from FNG, but is it enough? A Soulbind coming out as well. Thompson teleporting out. He's just barely going to be able to make it out, but Seb not quite as lucky as over on the side Soxa too. He's just been there a little bit too long, and look at this damage as they punch No Tail to death. Ana's going to be one of the few that make it out alive as Thompson has already teleported out.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Controlled chaos.
Controlled chaos.
That was unbelievable chase. How many buybacks did we just have? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
4 buybacks in this fight. Unbelievable plays there. Just there's so many little things that happened. I could go into a million different tangents. You know, some sniping healing wards in the beginning of fights, some nice connections to spells. OG somehow just pushing through it. But now, you'd think Alliance should have a good shot at this Roche, but OG,
Should.
they're going to look to run back at it. But yeah, Alliance, I think they should clean this one up now.
Oh, Roshan is getting chunked down, and yeah, it looks like OG has said, all right, we had a long fight there. We got a lot of buybacks out. We'll let them have it for now. So
that was
fine
wild.
with it.
I'm actually watching poor Ana in some of these fights. Like, he chronoed the Centaur, and he's hitting the Centaur,
Taking so
and he's
much
taking
damage.
so much damage
I
back
know.
just from Retaliate. Yeah, I was like, what? What is happening to Ana's HP? And then he just keeps switching back and forth between targets. Yeah, these fights are looking hard. OG somehow making it look easier than I thought it would look with what they're playing up against right now.
Sounds like you're volunteering to do a weatherman segment on that whole Roshan fight there, Fogged.
I don't know. That'd be a really long segment, I gotta be honest. I don't know how to use the skip function just yet. I'm learning.
You're learning. You're doing great, buddy. And a little bit of quiet after that massive storm. But again, we have an Aegis online. DK getting so close now to picking up that BKB. So I think they might just wait a little bit longer until they can get that online. Pipe is completed now for Seb.
Yeah, Blink on S4 going to be finished really soon. BKB on Limp, looking decent. You know, just a little bit scary moments, though. I'm seeing this Void and then this Voker having some decent time in the game as it gets to these later stages. And as we know, once we get to super late, it's like if a Chrono just catches on 2 or 3 heroes, the Cataclysm's going to start coming into play when the Invoker gets levels. He still has quite some growth, though. You know, we need 5 more levels until that Exort is going to be maxed out anyway. Still doesn't have the Ags, but we do have one Ags finished, and it's on Saksa.
That's a great Ags, too.
The buff on the damage is something I think people did not realize. It's a 450 burst when you use it on an enemy.
Well, it's just so good in general, right? Because you can use it offensively, defensively, anything like that. But the smoke is up, so they're hoping to make a play now, hoping that somebody's hanging around in this triangle. And look how fast Thompson's just beelining. But S4 already, he feels something is up.
TP.
Oh, but they cancel out the TP. The roll forward followed up with the Inkswell, and he's silenced up. He's not going to be able to quite move. Meatball gets dropped, but over on the line here, Houndskin joining back in. Nico Baby's also
Thompson's
here.
cracked.
They've got their eyes on Thompson. Can they get that? They're waiting patiently, and their patience will be rewarded. So Saksa just teleporting out. I don't think they can quite get that in time. And that gank not going the way they wanted on the side of OG.
Yeah, kind of ganking themselves a little bit. S4, he was showing himself in lane without his Blink dagger. The Blink didn't actually come into play, but he was hiding the Blink on the courier on the side. And then he TPs, and it's actually a long TP, which makes him get caught, but then it also makes Thompson get caught because of Hanskin's quick reaction.
Yeah, who was actually caught in that whole thing, really, when you look back at
seriously.
it. How the tables have turned.
And I love Hanskin's item build this game. He just went straight into Aether Lens, and he knows his job. He goes Blink right afterwards. He just has to sit all the way in the back of a lot of these fights to get that disruption off onto these Chrono targets. Or, in vice versa, he can Blink in and also get Demonic Purge if he sees a situation. So I think it's the perfect choice of items for him this game.
Radiant structures are fortified.
I'm not sure about this, OG. They're sitting up over on the high ground. But they don't have everyone here. This is pretty spooky.
Dire's middle tower.
They're bringing Ana.
He's on his way. Have to be careful.
Aegis is
Stop,
still there
though.
for a bit,
Immediately
but they're in.
finding Thompson. They'll go. They'll use the Rupture, the Sleep. Followed up with the Earth Split coming in. Thompson, though, oh, he's got the Ghost Walk.
Back.
He's absolutely fine. But on the back lines here, Ana has found himself Hanskin. He's found himself FNG, and they use the Stone Remnant over here as they're going to try to just beat down here over onto Limpet. They're getting some nice bashes off here, Fog, but they need to get a little bit more here, okay? A couple of the going right through here on Nico Baby. Got their eyes now. S4 is disarmed. He's just getting chonked away here by Ana, who just is relentless. They'll find that kill. The chase is on after Nico Baby. Sep, he's diving this tower. He's thinking about going out. He sees a courier. He's going to turn back around. Figures that we should at least take down this tower. Maybe not get too overzealous here.
Perfect catch from OG. They see the separation of heroes. They see the two supports kind of standing on each other. Ana gets them both. They Blood Rage. Okay, so more buffs as well that we have to talk about too. There's Blood Rage, Solar Crest, Alacrity being thrown on Ana. So he's hitting like a truck when he's inside of those buffs. He finds the two supports. Perfect separation of the fights. It completely breaks Alliance for the next few moments.
God, that's so smart, too, when you consider... Oh, well, 1 second.
Thompson.
Thompson It's getting spun around here. It's not looking good for him, but he is going to try to run. And they haven't quite managed to finish it up as Ana joins in. Time dilation, beats down. They end up losing Thompson. Hanskin buys him a little bit more time, but that stroke of fate coming through. And now Nico, baby, he's not looking too great. He still has an Aegis, though. So he's going to go down the first time. They're waiting patiently now. I'm not sure they can really follow up here, although you can see more people coming. The roll, the rupture, everything in the kitchen sink. And they finally slay Nico, baby.
And now they have a really good, firm grasp of the game, as they broke them. That last big Aegis push was a huge moment for Alliance, and OG just completely crushes them. Now they get another decent fight going on here without Chronosphere. Now they're gonna have Chrono for the next time. When Jug's up, they're gonna just be able to Chrono him immediately. This is now starting to look really difficult for Alliance after these last 2 moments.
You can see Sox is just hunting, making sure that nobody's teleporting in, no one can catch them by surprise or stun up Ana, and again, Seb waiting patiently over in the side as well. It's just all about protecting the humble god here.
Yeah, protecting and buffing. I cannot believe his attack speed. If you saw like the Blood Rage talent with the Blood Rage, with the Alacrity, with everything, he's hitting so fast when he's actually sticking on these targets. He's going full greed too. Like, he's got a butterfly queued up afterwards on Ana. He's starting to feel really good. Like I said, they broke Alliance in that last one where they separated the fights. Alliance probably feeling like these next few moments are going to be everything. If they lose this next fight, there's like no hope for them.
It's very crucial.
Now full eggs for Thompson too, with 4 points in Exort.
Woo! That's it's going to be a spicy team fight coming up.
Oh baby.
I can hear how excited you are. It's going to be great. Hopefully. If you're an OG fan. If you're not an OG fan, maybe they can turn around. I mean, they've got some nice ways to kind of make some interruptions and, or disruptions, you know. We can actually use the title of that. But the stomps as well. Lots of ways that they can approach this fight. I think it's just really important that these supports don't stand too close together anymore.
Yeah, they have to be separate, and they have to get a good jump. You know, Limp and S4, they have to get a great initiation with their double stuns and just pretty much erase somebody from the fights. But he actually goes for a full Scotty on Ana, so he's unbelievably tanky too.
Jump in immediately here from Limp. They want to just get rid of this pesky Grimstroke. So there will be no tail in this fight unless he buys back. You have the double damage rune, I believe, too, over there on Limp. He has very sparkly, shiny particles. But again, it is...
Oh yeah, Lotus. Okay.
Yeah, he's recovered very nicely.
He's ahead of the DK. I actually can't believe how much, just because of the fighting they've been able to do. And now they're just kind of playing themselves on the high ground, waiting for Grimstroke. If the fight comes to them, they'll take it.
Roll 4 from Sox up. The initiation, though, they jump over onto Thompson. But again, they have Ana there. Lotus Orb's going to get placed down. Again, nice stop for Sleep. Can they do anything further than this? Thompson trying to go right back in again. Has the tornado, and there it is, over on the side. We have 3 in the Chronosphere. As Ana's just focusing down, gets Hanskin. He wants someone else, though. He wants someone tankier, beefier. He's going to be able to probably get FNG, but he wants more as he turns back around over here onto S4. You can see some of these Omni Slashes just going around in circles. They do manage to take down Soxa, and this is not looking good for the Humble God, but he's still alive somehow. He still manages to get out thanks to that Inkswell over on the side. They'll be able to go take down Limp, and now Nico, baby. He needs some help. The rest of the team is nearby. The spin, he's buying more time. Thompson's not looking great here. Oh, but they finally slay him. Thompson just barely making it out with 50-something hit points. Seb hunting now after FNG. Doesn't really quite have that catch, though. Does have to be careful. They'll use a disruption. No tail nearby. They're thinking about going back in, but they've had enough for now.
Seb just dropped his Lotus Orb for a second on the ground and then picked it back up. I think that was a slight little taunt coming out from Seb, feeling some confidence after these last few fights. that was... I can't believe they saved Thompson. That was... Soxa just rolls in, enchant Repnin, kicks him out, saves him during the fight. Ana reinitiates, gets a beautiful Chronosphere connection. Alliance, they do at least get that final kill cleanup with the stomp, with the spin, but it's a pretty devastating hit anyway.
It's so nicely done with the kick on Thompson.
And Limp just has to sit there and watch. Like, look at him on the sidelines. People are probably like, what's Limp doing? He's just ruptured and spirit vesseled. He can't do anything in the fight. He's just completely out of it, and his whole team is just getting decimated from all the magical damage.
Ooh, Soxa's hunting, finds Hanskin, gets the silence, the slow, the stone remnant. He's gonna wait a little minute. He's gonna roll right on back again. They're just kind of playing with their food right now. They need to get the hit off, though, onto Hanskin, and perhaps they're just playing a bit too much because he is allowed to just teleport away.
Soxa slightly off the mark there with the roll, not connecting. Instead using the Enchant Remnant as a boulder and flying through it. Happens.
He's been playing so well, I think we won't hold that
He
against
has
him.
The idea of the game is what I'm so happy with, seeing how Soxa, like, immediately from the start of the game, he knows, like, Void is everything. It's a greedy draft. They try lane. I think that's had so much success. He's part of 23 of the 26 kills. As I feel like everybody, actually, if I'm checking OG scores, they're all part of, like, every kill because they're all just showing up.
I feel like there's a certain point when OG plays, especially now with Ana being in here, that it just becomes go time. Everybody goes together, and it's time to be a hit squad. In fact, there we go again. The roll from Soxa, the kick back, and Thompson will be the one who slays FNG.
And he's dead for 7. That's probably one of the bigger catches they can get. The ET and Roche is up. Oh my god, he used buyback in last fight too.
Lacrity, everything. Look at this guy. Chunking away over here at Mr. Roshan. They've got that Solar Crest as well. This is an Ag Shard. Who's getting the Ag Shard, Fog? You already have it on the Grimstone?
I don't even know. Maybe Thompson for the fun with the Chronos. Then maybe Triple Meteor is actually worth it.
Nah, it's going to be
No, they give it to the Rewind. Why?
He's having fun.
He doesn't.
Because he wants to have fun. Dota's about fun. Look at that face. Ana's having the time of his life over there. Having himself a little giggle.
They're probably like, Ana, take it. And Ana's like, what? Why? And they're like, just take it. He's like, all right.
Yeah.
Just coasting in the game.
They're offering you something, humble god. Just take it.
This would have been the one occasion where I wouldn't have been like, okay, Invoker can actually use it because he has Chrono for the Triple Meteor. I think in every other occasion, it's a very, very underwhelming shard on the Invoker.
It's just too wide, right? It's too wide with the meatballs. They need to be a little bit closer. Lotus Orb over here.
At least reduces cooldown, but it's not enough. Yeah, high ground.
S4, he's hoping. He's waiting patiently, but it's going to be so difficult for them to get this. All right. They'll stun up Void. Ana. Just going to walk back for a minute. Does have the Lotus again being placed upon him.
Buff up the carry. The OG style. There it is. 1, 2.
Right back in again. I'll just rewind.
Ooh. Dodges the Dragon Tail with the rewind this time.
He's got his fancy dancing shoes on, you know?
That's a cool interaction, because if you actually get stunned and you time walk first, like backwards, the stun will chase you. But I guess if you reverse time walk, as it's, I don't know, that's a little strange, but
we're learning things. It's fun.
Dota mechanics.
I'm sure they're watching in the back room too, trying to figure that out. Yeah, look at him. He's so confident. He's having the time of his life. He's just zipping around. He's practically doing a Storm Spirit cosplay at this point. And look at S4. What can he do? Soxa just kicking some boulders around, doing a bit of scouting, and they can't go anywhere near him right now. Just dodges the stomp, easy peasy. No big deal.
I love it. The build is working so well too. He's too tanky. They don't have damage to deal with this Void, and he's even gonna go Satanic on top too. Like, I don't know how you're gonna be able to kill this man.
I think that's what Alliance is asking themselves right now too. It's
too many
feels
buffs.
bad, right? Because, you know, Nico was doing such a great job. He was getting the farm. They managed to push Seb out of the lane, but, you know, Ana, a lot of it comes off of the play from, you know, Soxa as well. Soxa helping to make the space. You've got, you know, Thompson also making these rotations, and just everybody moving as a cohesive unit on the side of OG. It's just very difficult. And again, like you said, just constantly buffing up Ana, making him the big baddie.
And the trust between them, like that Roche fight was everything. Like Alliance was in such a good spot until all these buybacks come off, and they kind of just, like Limp's game got ended once you had the buyback. Is the sleep?
Yeah, they get the sleep, the roll, and those Soxa kicking right back again. There's not much mana over here as Limp jumps in, and they'll follow up. They'll be able to hold them together, plus the double silence and the double rupture. This is not looking great. And the Chronosphere coming in over on the back end. He doesn't even bother paying attention to anyone in the Chrono. He's just chasing after Limp. Buyback from S4. He is not happy about this, as they'll find a kill on Hanska. Nico Baby, he's doing everything that he possibly can, and he's not doing quite enough, although Seb actually does fall, and they'll focus back onto the side, over onto Thompson. They do manage to take him, but they'll be also able to get a dieback on S4. FNG is not looking too healthy, but they'll be able to pop the Aegis. FNG somehow still alive. Sox is not looking too great either. And Ana's back up. He's going to rejoin with Seb, and all right. Maybe they'll back. Do they go back in? Nico's hungry. He seems pretty angry about this. Satanic is completed now for Faceless Void. So they do manage to slay the Humble God once, but he had the Aegis.
Yeah, And they actually did a great job of locking
they want
Thompson
him.
down. He was
They want
split
him.
second from getting cheese off. Nico Baby
Look at him.
spotted.
This is a little too greedy, I think, Nico.
He's very far up.
He's
Rupture's
way
up
too
in 5.
far. Yeah, immediately gets a couple of these nice bashes followed up with the Inkswell. They do have to chase after him a little bit. Another bash, though. They'll try to get the stroke of faith. Okay, the Manta, the silence is still there. Nico trying to buy a little bit more time with the Swiss Blast. It's not going to be enough. Thompson tipping the Humble God as a Saksa. Nowhere to run, baby. Nowhere to hide.
He pushed up way too far. He's completely alone. He didn't have FNG behind him or
no one.
anything, and OG had good control of that triangle area for a while. I'm actually surprised how far he goes. Now it's 75 seconds. They can just go for the push. They can get this Rax once the creeps come in.
God, look at the bashes. Look how fast he's just wailing away on him, too. Rupture, Inkswell, everything that they could possibly put, and he tries, buys a little bit more time, but there it is. There's the smile.
Gives him a little one.
And yeah, they're just beating away here at the buildings. They can't do anything. Nico Baby dead
40
for
seconds.
40-something seconds, yeah. How do you get in there?
Chrono's
How do you
back
make
up
things do?
as he respawns. Yeah, as he respawns, Chrono's up, and they have the 25 talent on the Void as
they're gonna
well.
try.
So bigger Chronos, bigger Cataclysms.
How do you do this, though? They've even got a Lincoln's. It's just everything to protect Ana. Lotus, Lincoln's, Solar Crest. All right, they'll maybe settle themselves for Saksa, but the follow-up again, and they get the Soul
Double
Bind
Rupture.
off Saksa. It's going to buy a little bit more time, but S4 goes down. Follow up the chase after FNG, the disruption over on the back lines. Limp pops back out, trying to just get some more damage down. Hanskin falling, the Limp. He needs some help, and I don't think he's going to get it as it's a double kill now. Oh, and he's doing it again! Again! Ana goes right into the fountain. No big deal. He might end up paying for this one, though, because that's just perhaps a bit too greedy. Yeah, the giggles.
Standard OG stuff right there.
Standard.
Diamond Fountain. This
Wouldn't
time
be
they
an
didn't
OG
need to.
game without that.
Yeah. And, you know, the last one with the PL, that one had a purpose because they had the Pugnus pushing the powers as well and just taking the buildings. But this time, he kind of just goes in and feeds a little bit. You know, they're feeling good. They know how this game has gone. They know how well that they've played and executed after that a little bit of a rough start.
They figured it out, Fog. They figured out how to slay the Humble God.
Oh. Yeah, it's the fountain.
It's the fountain.
As Thompson snipes away a Hyperstone away from the Juggernaut, so no Mjolnir for Nico Baby. Nico Baby, though, level 25, and Alliance trying to get something out of that bit of over-fun from Ana.
Even gods can't stand toe-to-toe with fountains. They're just too powerful.
The middle tower is under attack.
All right, middle tower goes down. Nico Baby realizing they have an opening. There is no Ana to cause any difficulties this time around, so he's going to try to
They
get
got
whatever
AC.
he can get.
Yep. Limp even buying out, spending all his gold, too. You do see Top pushing in pretty hard because of these Forge Spirits, as well as that Rax. So I think that's probably all that Alliance can get, since these lanes will be pushing in so heavily. And OG, they're going to look for the fight right away again. Ana's back up. He won't have Chrono for a little bit, but doesn't matter.
He just does so much damage. So they're smoked up on the side of OG, and they're on the prowl. Who can they pick off? Who's going to be the victim? Oh dear,
Saksa.
you don't want it to be Nico Baby if you're on Alliance. The Rupture, the kick. No, follow up with the Blood Right. Limp trying his best to keep him alive over here. Saksa is ticking down. It's not looking too great. Buys himself some more time though. Kicks away over to the
He
side.
kicks
He's going to be
himself
just fine as Ana joins in. He does get stunned up though. Have to be a little bit careful. He's going to tank this Omni Slash, but look how tanky he is. He doesn't care. He just stands there. No problem. Goes right back in again. He's going to heal up thanks to that Inkswell as he turns his attention over to FNG. FNG is going to fall, and the chase is on. Thompson, though, is getting bullied over on the back lines, but back over here, Limp is next on the hit list of Ana. The chase is on Nico Baby. Rolling on through here is Saksa. The Cataclysm comes in hot. Nico Baby falls, and now S4, the GG, well played, gets called. OG, they do it again.
They do it again, and in a little bit of a different fashion this time, though. The early game looked a little bit tough. Alliance, I feel like they did a great job of securing all that, but this Roche area, this whole devastation that happened around there, as you said from the beginning, controlled chaos, OG makes it work because of that. They just get some huge kills and then just some consecutive kills, really, onto the Juggernaut. When that Aegis comes back and they kill him the second time bottom, that's like the nail in the coffin of Alliance.
Did you see that cheeky smile there from No Tail? I mean, they're all
Of course.
smiles, right? They're having a great time. You know, Ana this time didn't get to dive the fountain 3 times, but definitely, you know, felt very, very powerful. And, you know, it's an interesting thing. It's fun to watch OG, especially because, you know, we have not seen this Faceless Void, at least not in this region, right? Being able to look this dominant. I don't even think it was picked before, was it? I can't recall.
I can't recall. I don't think
Yeah.
so. I haven't really gotten to see it much now.
But yeah, they look great. And now, you know,
did.
Alliance, they had a nice start, but they need to figure out how they survive the, what do you want to call it? The tempest of like the storm. It just starts off quietly, it brews up, and then all of a sudden all hell rains loose. So looks like Alliance, while they look good in the early game, they're going to have to figure out how they're going to survive that mid game. But we're going to let smarter people than myself. Yeah, you're very smart, but we're going to throw it over to panel and see what they have to say about it.
Thank you, Moxie and Fogged. And yeah, Alliance definitely need to shape it up in mid-game, that fight. Or maybe at some point they should have tried to stop fighting, because that was exactly what OG wanted, and they got exactly what they wanted out of that too. A victory, that is a W on the board for them. We're going to break the game down and prepare for game number 2 after this.
You ready? Huh? Hey, he's a good boy, huh? You ready? Huh?
you saw the first 10 minutes of this game, and then you, I don't know, you walked away to go to the bathroom, or you had to go do something for someone else, you would have been surprised by the ending of this game, because first 10 minutes were absolutely dominant for Alliance. They did all the lanes well, they got all the farm, but then the fighting started. And guess who's proved multiple times that they are the best fighting team in the world? That's right, two-time TI champion, OG, and they are still, yeah, they are still on top of that game for sure. I'm here with BSJ and Cap. And we're gonna break the game down. Where do we start? Do we start with the lanes, Cap, because they were a little weird, letting the Juggernaut just, you know, do whatever he wished?
Yeah, I don't think OG should have won that game.
No.
Like, lanes, like, they leave the Bloodseeker in a solo lane, and he's just getting smashed. He's got, like, 4 CS by, like, 4 minutes or something like that. It's just, he's not feeling good. I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, you picked up Faceless Void Chronosphere against a Shadow Demon, you're going to get Disrupted combo. You're not even going Exort Invoker, so there's not a ton of damage you put into the Chronosphere. We saw that a number of times in the first 20 minutes. It was just like, sometimes you Chrono, nothing dies.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't understand what the point of this was. And then you start seeing it. All of a sudden, Faceless Void's getting Alacrity'd, and he's getting Blood Rage, and he's getting Inkswelled, and he's getting Solar Crested, and all of a sudden he's got plus 280 attack speed or something like that, with increased movement speed, an extra 100 damage, and I mean, Faceless Void is probably the best possible hero to give attack speed, carry-wise.
Yeah, pretty much. I would say that this spiel you went on reminds me of Bulba at TI8. And it was when we were doing the panel during the finals, because he was invited as like a guest onto the panel. And his entire thing was basically how it feels like OG should never win the games that they win. Like, how did they, that was back when they were picking Spectre, they'd be losing by like 5K net worth at the 10-minute mark, and then they win. Like, we talked about it in the panel. We said, like, we thought Alliance was going to win, but if there was one team to just pull off some crazy crap like that, it would be OG. And I just don't know a player in the world other than someone like Seb, who's like, yeah, guys, you go tri-lane. I'm going to buy some boots on off-lane Bloodseeker. I'm going to have 4 CS at 8 minutes in the game.
I'll take the Invis rune, thank you, please. And I'll sit on the lane. Soaking experience.
Yeah, they just fight so well, and they have such a good... Like, the way he came back, started his comeback was invading the stacks that FNG made... Or, no, it was Hanskin that made them with level 5. Like, he was a level 5 Bloodseeker, left his lane. It's just so creative. It's like they see the bigger picture.
I mean, that's also the thing where we're joking about, like, oh, yeah, like, of course, you were going to, that's how you make your comeback game. You invade the triangle and take their stacks. Like, that's a reliable thing you can do, right? But, you know, like, OG just...
They did, yeah. No. They just fought their way back, and they are the best fighters. And there were a lot of fights in the mid game of this specific game. But Purge wants to talk to you about one specific one.
Thanks, Cheever. Yeah, OG's draft was really interesting in how they executed. Despite losing the laning stage and some gold advantage, the whole goal is Inkswell, buff up Void, get him on some heroes. But he had some issues in the early game. He's taken a bit too much physical damage from return, from Centaurs. So it's a little hard to burst down people. And a lot of their engagements were kind of in and out. Felt kind of good, but also a little bit iffy. In this one, they bought back Bloodseeker. They forced the enemies out of the pit. Then they take another fight. And then Void, with his high tankiness item build with S&Y, limits the stuns that affect him. He gets tons of heal constantly from Time Walk. And the best thing about it is that they just have good heroes against the Jug matchup. Jug is a pretty darn effective hero so far this patch. He's been really successful in lots of carry positions, but he doesn't have good tools against Faceless Void, and he also doesn't have good tools against being Ruptured. Rupture was a huge deal against Amir. Here's a great example. Rupture, punch back, takes tons of damage. He spins, but that's it. He can't do anything. He's pretty much committed. So after this fight, when Alliance gets some space in the mid lane, OG positions really well to set up for the next phase. Hanskin blinks away from Sox's initiation. There's a great Chronosphere by Ana to get the 2 support kills, which was massive. And on the side over there, Soxa also disabling the Dragon Knight for 4 seconds. You might be thinking, what were the carries doing in this meantime? Well, what they actually did was they targeted Topstun on the backline. The stun comes in here, Jug comes forward. He uses Omni Slash after the big jump because he was ruptured, so it stops some damage, but instantly Invoker uses Ghost Walk, so that gets completely wasted. And now he can't move and rearrange himself to the better part of the fight. So if we jump back to the previous clip again in the same spot, here he is finally moving around on Jug to come enter the fight, but OG with their great positioning just get put in a really good position. And here is the best thing that you get about Void. He's got Alacrity, he's got Solar Crest, and he's got Blood Rage. An insane amount of attack speed means that he can just match up against basically any hero from this point on in the game, just because he's not going to die as much and he's going to consistently get kills. So despite losing the laning stage, OG guarantees that Faceless Void has a good game. They just outplay in team fights and eventually they pull out a win.
They pull out a win, and they also make us be very entertained with the way they won that game. And they will probably give us an entertaining game again. We're going to find out if Alliance can force out a third game, though, because that is the question. With OG now 1 game up, can they force out the tie with the 1-1? We're going to head into the draft of Game 2 after the break.
By someone that tomorrow I'll be blind. I draw the face.
Will Game 2 of Alliance versus OG be just as much as a bloodbath as Game 1? We're going to find out. You're watching DreamLeague Season 15, powered by Intel, and it's upper division time here for the Western European DPC League. Both of these teams have gotten a one series already under their belt, and whoever wins this series will take the top slot at the rankings, and that is a big deal, especially because Team Secret already has got a loss to their name, so remaining undefeated, very important. Whoa, 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 whoa! We're very much well into the draft. I'm here with Brian. I'm here with Cap. Talk some Dota to me, please. Lena, coming out. Oh, please don't make it look too good. Thank you.
Yes, let it be against the mid beast man. Wait, no, that's already banned.
Man, it's banned out. We're actually pretty far into our second phase of bans as well.
Seb looks very bored.
Yeah, he's like,
He's like, my hero's already picked. Why am I playing this crap in the Timbersaw? That could be a 5 mag, but I guess against Timbersaw, it's probably unlikely.
Yeah. Oh, I had to play this exact matchup. Snapfire against Lina and Mag, and I actually played it against Saksa on the Lina, and he was paired with Saberlight.
So kind of nobodies. Kind of nobodies?
Yeah, kind of nobodies.
Okay.
I think Snapfire, like, legitimately kind of can win that lane. Unfortunately, my own inadequacies lost us the lane. So,
Yes.
Snapfire, I feel, is one of the few heroes who can actually trade hits with Lina, is where I was leading with. If you actually do get the Blightstone to start, you go for Shredded, whatever that's called, Little Shredder. You actually can trade hits with Alina, which is one of the rare heroes to do so, right? Because once she gets like level 2, she gets her passive, she gets to throw spells at you and just outranges you, out attack speeds you. Super annoying.
Well, they clearly think it's good because they picked it. The OG, that is, the Lina mag against the Snapfire.
Oh yeah, it's a classic combo,
Saksa
right?
might have even used that game.
Yeah, it was false information.
Yeah,
you're saying?
Cap
Like,
has literally changed the course of Dota history by failing mechanically and convincing Saksa that this is the
That's
proper
a
lane
good
path
hero.
Let me
to
just say,
Snapfire.
real quick shout out to V-Tune from Navi for that game. He was the carry. He did not rage at me. He said, yo, bro, just heads up.
Just stop, dude.
No flame. just stop playing Dota. No, he said, no flame. Block the hard camp next time.
Dude.
Do that, FNG. Please do that. Don't make the mistake that I did.
That sounds like a similar experience to what I had with Boone. Or Boom.
Yeah.
I want to give it, like, that is a
Yo,
super
bro.
nice thing to say for V2. I mean, that's like...
shout out to him.
You
He's
know, the
super
amount
nice
of
about
time
it.
you hear crap from pro players having shitty attitudes in game, extra credit to people who are actually nice and supportive. So
Yes,
V2,
absolutely.
I'm rooting for you.
Yeah,
Thank
so OG's all about damage amp. You know, we've talked about them really seeing the bigger picture of Dota. I remember even when Sumail was briefly on the team, that one game they had IO Gyrocopter, and that was back when Hart gave heal amp.
Yeah.
And then he had Satanic and a Rapier, and he got like stunned permanently, but he was life stealing so much off of his side gunner. It's just the kind of like unique interactions and mechanics that they really enjoy just using and manipulating them in ways that require like 4 specific heroes, you know? Like with Void, you needed to have him as the one carry, as you're saying, probably the best hero.
Yep.
Give all these attack speed buffs, and then you just throw 3 of them on there.
That's why it feels like when you watch OG draft sometimes that it almost looks like they're not addressing the enemy heroes.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, why are you picking this hero into that hero? Well, in some ways, I feel like this is a pre-designed plan, that there are only so many replacements to the parts.
Oh, absolutely. And they're just saying that, like, no matter, there's no hero in the game that can single-handedly outscale our combo, right?
Yeah.
Our heroes amp each other so much. So in this case, you're already seeing it again. You have the mag, cleave, and power. You have the ET minus armor and magic resistance aura. And then you have to ask yourself, who's the best hero in the game to get cleave, but also utilize the ET spirit? Well, we're about to find out.
On the other side, I do like the fact that Alliance put out this like big threat. I thought honestly, the drafting wise, like they did a good job. They put the big like Shadow Demon Centaur threat out of the board. This time around, it's the Timbersaw, like something that is going to be able to create a lot of space, which is what S4 does very well for them. PA.
There it is.
Very few heroes are going to be able to. Right, you have to have a critical, or like in the Void, Faceless Void game, he's the best hero to be specifically given attack speed.
It's like, this is so courageous, though, because PA is pretty hard countered by Timbersaw in lane.
Hey,
okay?
we thought Void was hard counter
That's-
already with the Shadow Demon saving people.
That's
Didn't
what we're
turn out to
saying,
be
is I'm
true.
saying that they have some real audacity to just hard counter themselves in lane. And now this time around, I would say Alliance has some competing abilities in these team fights. Like, you don't just have the overall wombo combo going in favor of OG, unlike game 1. So I hate to be skeptical again that they can do it, but you've already drafted yourself weaker lanes. I guess Void probably doesn't do too well against Lina 4. I think you probably just get pelted, right? So I guess Nico, I wonder what the lanes are going to do. You know, I feel like there might be some weird lane shenanigans again. But we got to have the last pick coming out for Thompson. And
unless he plays Lina or unless he plays Mag.
I'm pretty set on that being a duo because it's a very hard lane to beat because of Shockwave's repositioning. It means you guarantee land the LSA.
Yeah.
So it's very annoying.
Maybe
if you guarantee land the LSA, you're probably getting skewered back as well.
I'm down for a Thompson Tiny here. I know it's into Timbersaw, but I know they also don't care about that sort of deal.
You don't want to see something else that buffs up the PA?
No.
Obviously, Invoker Band. I don't know what else is left.
I think they got enough.
I think they need a guy that's going to, like, bring down... Like, that's going to roam to this Void's lane. That's going to roam to the Timbersaw's lane. Like, I understand that they see Dota at a whole nother level than I do, but I think they need somebody to alleviate the pressure on these side lanes.
Isn't there other magic damage cores that could do that? Like the weird ones, Grimstroke Core. I don't think you want Pugna because of PA, Skywrath. There's got to be.
It's like Lesh comes to mind for me, but you're not. I don't think I've ever seen Thompson play Lesh.
Yeah.
Pugna would be okay in terms of the game plan. It's obviously not good with PA, but it's good as a save against the Chrono.
Already banned. First phase on Alliance, Pugna.
Wow, that's some serious respect.
All right, Alliance, see if they got some more damage to pump.
Oh, the deny pick Tiny. They knew it. They knew it.
You would have been right.
Limp is a great Tiny player.
I knew exactly what they were going to pick.
Yeah. Can
What does
blow
Thompson
up
have
PA
left?
pretty easily, and Lina.
What does Thompson have left? Is this the Ricky? I'm actually ready. I'm ready for the Ricky. Thompson Ricky. You gotta dart that Timbersaw. That's how you deal with them.
It's true.
I don't actually think they're gonna pick it, but Void Spirit seems fine.
Yeah. Puck Spand. Quap. No.
Oh! That feels good. I know it doesn't mean much to you guys, but it meant a lot to me that he picked Ricky there.
No, it's very impressive.
That's a Thompson special.
It is a Thompson special.
And it's a classic lose all 3 lanes, win game from OG plan. I think they got going here. Really good against Phases.
Yeah, it continues the synergy that they have of Mag ET, right? Like Ricky's going to take advantage of both the Empower, and when you take away armor for a Ricky, the damage he pumps out can be insane. It's just like like your synergy mechanically, like how to buff up these heroes is cool, but like Alliance has Timbersaw and they
a lot of
have
plus
good
armor.
lanes.
Tiny's ult is plus armor. Timbersaw's reactive armor is plus armor, so that doesn't get negated by the ET aura. I don't even know how to predict in a series like this. We know what's going to happen. OG's going to lose at least mid and bottom lane, or safe lane, excuse me, so top lane. But they're probably going to make a comeback.
Probably going to fight their way back.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Alliance did it this time.
Yeah.
And something about S4 Timbersaw, just I believe that this time around, they've got the difference between Game 1 and Game 2 is that they also scale better. They also have the really big team fight capabilities. You get the right Chronosphere. You've got Snapfire to pump in damage, Timbersaw, Chakram. There's a lot of good things
I just think Void's going to have a tough time, and I think both carries are going to have a tough time. One of them has a free Battle Fury, the other one doesn't. So that's going to be my deciding factor.
Well, we're going to find out. I think everybody wants to see a third game, so rooting for Alliance here. But let's find out how this second game is going to play itself out. We're heading over to Moxie and Fogged.
The classic, anything you can do, I can do better sort of thing going on with the Faceless Void, of course, being picked up by Alliance. We've got S4 on his Timbersaw, but we got Thompson on his Ricky, and Fogg, break it down for me because I'm not sure what's happening in this game. I'm excited though, either way.
I'm excited too. I love this. I actually like Ricky. I think people are a little bit sleeping on just how valuable Cloud is. Smokescreen is an AoE silence. You see mobility heroes, a Void, and a Timbersaw. It can just be absolutely crucial to just get an AoE silence on top of these heroes in the mid game. You can just kill them immediately because of that. I think Thompson, he has opportunities to go for the dagger again, or the sleeping dart as we saw him do it last time. Great setup for those smokescreens. And it's an OG style draft. It's got crazy potential for scaling. And I'm surprised Alliance has gone for a Void carry. I saw OG make it work, but it looked a little like weird the way it happened. Alliance just busted out, even though it's a hero we haven't seen played much in carry.
Yeah, it definitely feels a little bit strange, but perhaps they were afraid of letting them have it again. I'm not 100% sure here. But again, you do have Limp on his signature Tiny. It has changed a lot over the course of many, many years. But I'm sure everyone's pretty excited to see how he's going to be able to make it work. As Seb and Nico Baby are trading some hits over there. See who manages to pick up the rune. It's going to be Seb. And this time, OG not going to let Alliance take
They'll get all
the
four of
runes.
themselves.
They're going to, you know, like I said, anything you can do, I can do better.
The actual role reversal coming out here. As okay, we see the classic, a very classic mid matchup, the Ricky versus Tiny. I'm sure you guys get this in your pubs all the time. And it's a Ricky with a Blightstone to start the boot. He knows he's versus Tiny. Tiny 0 armor. There's going to be some harass war coming out from Thompson, I feel.
What's the likelihood of one of these guys slaying the other just by themselves here?
I give it a very high chance, like 80% chance in this game. There's going to be some crazy action from the two of them, even getting dove, like tossed under tower, then Thompson maybe jumps away and somehow gets a return kill. But we'll see, because I think last hitting on the Ricky still can be a bit hard, especially into that tree grab initially.
And they're really just wanting to make sure that they can secure this farm here for Ana here in the top lane. They're running a tri-lane right off the bat again. So
yeah,
interesting
that's
that they
actually
keep using that.
Bit more interesting this time. I thought for certain this time they'd actually put Saksa with that Magnus, because this was the OG style that they did at TI for a while. The Magnus plus that ranged hero with them, where they just empower him and you just get that little bit of extra bonus damage. You can't deal with it. It's actually really strong lanes usually, but no, that's not the case.
Is it just a situation, too, of making sure that, you know, Seb can get those levels online faster? Because it feels like they reach a critical mass point, right, where they're just like, okay, it's go time, especially with the PA, right? You want to get going fairly early, and you want to be able to make things happen.
I'm not sure. I think they just want to make sure S4 has a tough time, and they're just going to make him just get super shut down at the start of the game, because I think Panel was saying it, too, is... You know, S4 Timbersaw, it's something that has won them a significant amount of games. So if they just literally shut him out completely of the game from the start, they'll be able to always kill this Timbersaw and he'll look very underwhelming. And Seb made it work last time. So this time he has a built-in defense mechanic of Skewer.
I do like the fact that Thompson's got this Blightstone. It's really affecting Limp as Tiny. Not the most armor on this bad boy.
Yeah, it's done.
Trade really nicely.
It's done some decent trade, and he's not going to be able to go for bottle because he is a mid Ricky, so he has to play around some weird kind of harassment since Limp is just going to constantly fill up his bottle. So we'll see how that lane actually plays out as at the tri lane. You know, it's working out, and we're seeing the same thing as last time. Nico Baby 15 and 11 with his last hit. So
we'll have to see. I mean, and the flip side of things, you know, God, it's crazy when you think about like how well he did against Seb in game number 1, but how little it seemed to matter. Especially now you consider, you know, the fact that you do have a PA in this game, a PA that tends to, you know, do a lot more damage early on. I'm not sure if it's enough if they're able to, you know, secure the farm up here for Ana.
yeah, and the thing is too is like Void overall is not a traditional, well, you know, not yet, you know, still early in the patch. We'll see what people try to experiment with, but it's not your traditional full carry yet in comparison to the Jug, who's just tried and tested, who just has won a lot of games just when you are able to get those free farms. So we'll see what Nico Baby can do this time around.
Thompson's gonna go cruising over, help himself to the enemy's bounty rune. In the top lane, though, they're trading quite a bit here with S4. It's a nice telekinetic drop over the side. Bottom lane, looks like Seb had to run away. But he is, you know, at the end of the day, he's surviving, and that's what's important.
He's got the same exact farm as last time. 4 last hits at the near 4-minute mark, just like his Bloodseeker.
I don't think he's gonna find those stacks this time around, though, right? He's not gonna get that lucky. Surely lightning doesn't strike twice.
Surely not. Maybe he stacks for his PA, though, and then he gets that little bit of gold increment that comes in for himself at some point. We'll see what Seb looks to do. As they're actually going to send the snap top. I like this. They know that bottom is now secured. Nico Baby can lane solo versus the Magnus if he does come down, and they're going to do try versus try action.
Saksa need to be a little bit careful here. Goes, winds up with the LSA, but the Avalanche does connect with the toss, and they should be able to let Limp get the final hit here. Yeah, they will. Top lane, the bullying begins on Ana. So that little shredder is absolutely annoying.
He's still getting mostly free farm up here on the PA. Obviously not the same as the Void, but Still pretty good. As No Tail getting turned on.
Ooh.
Nice juke.
Anticipates the cookie. Is it going to be enough, though? Not quite enough here. S4, again, is going to be able to flex those saws a little bit.
S4 almost getting the level 2 reactive armor. He actually had to skill Whirling Death so they could get a kill there, but well worth it.
Limp also helping him. So it's funny, they managed to get the enemy bounty runes on both sides here. They didn't actually fetch them themselves.
Yeah, they both just like kind of ran through. Thompson's actually doing well. You know, he went for this Band of Elven skin now mid, so he's got really high base damage to match the Tiny, and he's gonna get his farm. You know, he's gonna get a decent amount there. So the pick working out versus the Tiny mid already.
Ooh, that was a good cookie, but again, Ana at any second could just opt to blink away. Throws out the dagger though. Turn around, they try to land the LSA, not gonna be able to quite manage it. Look at the punches though over onto Hanskin. Oof.
No Tail's level 3. Level 2 Spirit versus Tri-Lane, the Dream. You just can get a free 120 damage if you do connect it onto all 3. Yeah, it's a little bit more if you connect on the creep wave, of course, so Alliance does have to be pretty careful with their positioning.
God, again, Nico Baby just having the time of his life. 37 and 27 for CS. But they've got their eyes on Soxa. Nice LSA plus the stomp. This is not looking great now for FNG. Is he going to be the first one here? Yeah, he's going to go down first. Ana trying to buy himself a little bit more time. There's not much mana left here on S4 as he dodges away from that LSA.
Limp gets an invis. He's looking to get involved top. Some pretty easy kills. He's got level 3 Avalanche, so
they have
pretty much anybody who walks up is dead.
He's not quite in the range, so Soxa's got to be careful here. One Avatos and he is dead, and woo! Yep, as predicted.
And an instant TP with no hesitation back to the mid lane too. Not slowing down Ana though. He is still getting that free farm, so they don't get the kill onto him. So he'll have some good item time. He says, No Tail.
The cookie plus little shredder equals 1 dead Elder Titan. They do get a snipe on Nico Baby's courier though.
Ooh, Medallion already done for FNG too. So, I mean, these are fun tri-lanes that we have. We have a little shredder with Medallion to reduce like 13 armor, or sorry, 10 armor, or 11 armor off the target, sorry, 11 armor.
13
and then
armor,
we have ET.
Oh my god, have mercy.
Sorry. And then ET with the Spirit working better versus tri-lanes too, so fun.
Ooh, this is looking a little risky here for Seb. He's getting chased by, yeah, in the top lane too. They have a whole fight, but Thompson is still alive, and he's going to be able to walk away from this engagement. FNG not as lucky. S4, Timber chaining away. They don't have anything quite yet to go. Oh no, Hanskin, he gets caught by the LSA. Do they have enough damage? They've got the range. One more hit from the Lina should take down Hanskin. Somehow Seb is still alive in the bottom lane. He is just being chased around by Nico Baby. So, you know, that's kind of nice, right? If you're an OG fan, he's not hitting creeps, not adding to that wonderful CS that he's got.
That's what we see them tipping out right there. Seb's like, okay, you just chased me around. I'm already level 5. I almost have arcane boots. Seb's game is actually not looking that bad somehow.
It's
3 points in
funny.
power.
Isn't this like the theme, it feels like, in the first game, and now this is just like, huh, look at Seb go. How is this happening?
Somehow he has this farm, 3 points in Empower, so he's going to be able to boost up the Ricky, boost up the PA, and we're going to see some stacks. No Tail attempts to stack with his Spirit, but you actually have to be a little bit closer. He actually ends up missing both stacks because he tried to maximize.
This is a big kill. S4 gets murked by the Ricky Maru.
Oh my god, he died so... He was low on HP.
He was very low on
HP. So quick.
Yes. And then they landed the LSA and a couple clicks, and down goes the Timber Saw.
Now lanes are a little weird for Alliance. I've seen OG, they can just split things up as Thompson can just continue to be super aggressive.
Hanskin is getting chased here by Thompson. He wants this kill. And yeah, that Spirit coming in handy.
Nicely done by No Tail. And now Limp, I feel like, has to do these moves. I want him to shut down Ana, but he also needs to help S4.
Oh, toss up though over here onto Humble God. He's just going to teleport out in front of them because he knows they have no way of being able to cancel these TPs. Soxa here also realizing that, so they're just going to leave.
Still a needed rotation. I still think it's perfect that happens. Limp, he's able to push them out of the lane. S4 now gets some freedom to get some levels, which he needs. He's only level 5 on the Timber because of all that tri-lane action. And Limp, he'll get his rune potentially taken, but he actually dusts.
Ooh, no? Can he finish off Thompson, though, is the real question. He's ticking down low. He needs to find a blink target here or something. He's going to be able to go leap, but the tree coming in. Oof.
He fades.
Quite.
I think the dust just wore off as it was hitting onto him, so it doesn't connect. Okay.
It was a close one, that's for sure.
It was close, yeah. And N0tail able to get himself away from S4. As we said, only level 5. Usually your Timbers are at least 6 or 7, so he would have been able to just kill N0tail, but N0tail's actually going to hit 6 before S4 does up here.
They want Seb. They... Oh, does Soxa spot this out, though? No, they'll use the Chronosphere, so they should be able to manage a kill on the Magnus. Or sorry, oh no, that was... Oh my gosh. That was actually Ana.
Yeah.
My bad, my goodness. I didn't realize that he had rotated.
That's a big kill, and a Chrono to lead into the tower, but they're going to come down to defend this one with Soxa.
Yeah, right at the last second. Good grief.
Yeah, right, it did phase right
Right
before,
at the
actually,
second.
literal right
Yeah.
before. Wow, okay, beautiful. I love seeing little things saving like that, and you learn, you know, hey, tree doesn't... If you target the tree on the hero and he fades, it doesn't apparently connect, but if you target ground, perhaps it does, you know, crazy Dota mechanics, the loveliness of Dota.
Indeed. All right, well, no Chronosphere available for a while, so it looks like OG wants to take advantage of this as they have rotated now to that bottom lane with the PA. Thompson trying to make some moves here. Seb is here, throws out the Empower. Avalanche, a bit of a toss, but doesn't connect on Thompson.
I think they got kind of got to chill. I'm actually watching what N0tail's doing up top. He's just taking the creep wave away to stop S4 from pushing the tower faster. Small, cute little thing, but actually makes a world of difference. I've seen people do stuff like this quite a lot to prevent those pushes, so that's some nice stuff. Limp, he's going to make the move up, though. Another invis should be able to just end N0tail's funny business.
Yep. He's playing with him a little bit here. The toss up with the Avalanche. S4 happily take that. But the jump at the bottom, Laguna being used over onto Hanskin. Thompson, he wants this cookie hop forward, though, underneath the tower. Thompson has to be careful, doesn't get too greedy. He'll back off. He is dusted, but Ana just hiding out in the tree line here. Go back to hitting creeps. More than happy to do so. We'll drop a sentry, make sure they don't have any vision as Thompson makes his way back behind this tower again.
Seb, oh, he actually, okay, I was going to be like Seb doing double stacks. He actually missed the secondary stack, so he will at least prepare one, but they're starting to get those stacks set up for the Void, or for the PA, as Thompson assassinates FNG behind the tower.
DPs are coming out here. Limp looking for this opening. Stomp gonna be able to land, but does get hit, and there's the toss up into the air, but they follow up. This is not looking good for Nico Baby. Was not prepared for the squad that's coming in from OG. S4 rotating now as well. Not much mana left over here on Limp. He is gonna be using that bottle, get some of that back, but they get a steal from the Rubik. It's got the Empower. That should feel pretty nice.
That is actually pretty huge for the Void. It's usually not your best Empower kind of target, you know, because you're just kind of... It's not the same as like a PA where you just get that explosive crits and all that, but yeah, we'll help him farm. Unless he gets killed immediately by Thompson.
I mean, that's not looking great. They do have the teleport coming out, though. So Thompson, he'll find the kill, but Nico Baby using the Chronosphere. Is he going to be able to do enough damage here, though, to Thompson? Thompson, though, with the bash. Yes, he absolutely will.
Oh. Okay.
Peekaboo.
He was a split second from getting the blink strike out onto the creep wave and surviving, but 2 to 3 bashes, he's going to give him a tip for that. And Seb, he has gotten some good levels out. He's just been jungling for the last few moments. Has max in power. He's starting to throw that onto Ana, and they have stacks at the ready for him.
Gotta feel pretty good here. Soxa, ring around the rosy, or the tower in this case. I'll try to buy himself a little bit more time. Just get some of these spells off. The TPs are coming, though. S4 is a little scared about this. Oh, it's a nice LSA. It interrupts that Timber Chain, plus the Stomp. And in comes Thompson. They split that Earth, the Laguna Blade. And again, it is difficult to take down S4, but it's looking like they're probably going to be able to do it. Does he have another chain? Nope. Soxa, LSA coming in hot.
This is supposed to be the unkillable period for S4 too, and he gets brought down because he overextends a little bit too hard. That's painful, as the kisses actually are going out.
Kisses. Seb, though, going to interrupt it. Limp on the back lines, finding himself a target, kills Ana.
Okay.
And he just rolls on out. Nothing like a haste rune. And a blink
How many
dagger.
power runes has Limp gotten? It's like every rune, I feel like, has been a haste or invis for him.
Ooh, he
nice
wants
grab and another one.
Yeah. He saw Seb was ripe for the picking.
Great stuff from Limp on his most comfortable hero. 5-0 this time around. He's not going to look like that DK who I think ended with 0 kills last time. Getting real active.
That's what you need to be doing here. You need to put that pressure down on OG.
Yeah, they have to be applying the pressure. Now they're actually spotting the Ancient stack.
This will hurt to lose. Yeah, look at this. They're converging. They don't like this. They don't like that they're touching their property here. No tail, though. Looking for the stomp. Will be able to land it again over onto S4, but Limp is getting hunted here by Humble God. Anna, he does have the Desolator online as Thompson finds the kill on Hanskin. Couple daggers flying around. No tail. He is going to get cut down in this whole engagement. There's the toss. Avalanche going right in again. Thompson, though, he's got his eyes on Limp. Follow up with a nice dagger. Anna trying to find this opening, but Low Shredder coming in hot. It does so much damage. Thompson has to be careful. Laguna coming in. They managed to take down Limp. Soxa will pay for that, though, as he's the next to fall. The push back again. They're thinking about the RP. They get them up both as they jump right in. Tricks. Look at the damage coming out. They're just slaying them. Do end up losing Seb, but S4 is the last man standing here in this engagement. The stomp,
and the big
too.
creeps
Oh,
are
my
still,
gosh.
They're still at the Ancient. He still gets to finish off the big creeps after the end of it all, Ana.
Ooh.
Great choice to buy back from NoTail. He dies, had just enough. He actually gets so much gold just from this buyback and just knowing to fight around his Thompson.
Thompson. He's still alive, Fogged.
The madness continues for OG.
Look at the smile. Thompson is so giddy after that.
The target priority that they do in fights is actually the most impressive thing to me. I just watched Hanskin run into the fight, and he just gets obliterated by PA Ricky, like instantly before he gets a single spell off, and then they're dancing around Timber, dancing around Void, killing the Tiny so he can't jump in back and forth to get these like chain consecutive combos, and then they wait, and then they go for that Void, then they isolate the Timber once they start getting a bigger number advantage. It's quite beautiful to watch. Alliance, they really wanted to stop that Ancient farming, but that hurt them quite a lot.
I too enjoy the Waltz of Death because that's exactly what we just saw. S4 though immediately getting spotted. They do have the rest of the team behind them. They're smoked up. Trying to buy more space here, of course, for the Faceless Void. They have to be careful though. OG is here in force. Limp, he's gonna initiate. Seb will fall, but the jump immediately over onto the Rubik. The split gets used over on the back lines. Cookie will save him though. LSA again over onto S4. They're making the space.
They're a bit hesitant to go in. Thompson waiting for a moment to strike with this defusal. Every time he sees one of these supports, like I see FNG, I see Hanskin, they're just almost insta-dead from Thompson jumping. He's always looking.
Oh yeah, look at that. He sees FNG, the silence. See you later, Grandma. LSA connects again. S4 is very tanky. Ooh, it's a good stomp. Makes it so he cannot connect that Timber chain here. Now Tail Limp, though, is waiting patiently. Chakram doing a lot of damage, plus the tree, but not quite enough to slay the Elder Titan. And the giggles, of course.
They're on the hunt already on the other side, though. Look, Seb and Thompson, they know that the Void's playing opposite side of the map with Smokescreen and the Diffusal. High chances to be able to actually kill Nico Baby.
He's got Chronosphere, though, so if he can survive the initial hop. Silence, okay, yeah, he's gonna time walk it off. Still playing around here. Seb is here. He uses the RP, but I'm not sure if they're going to go and follow up. No, it's a little bit too aggressive here from Seb because the rest of the team, they are indeed here. Tossing right back over, and that's a dead Magnus.
Close to them getting him, but not quite as the big TPs do come out, and he holds Chrono. So that's a nice thing, at least for Alliance, to get that kill without having to expend anything big. But Thompson continues to be on the hunt, as we see with the DD rune.
Ana.
Any of these supports are still free. Ana, dancing.
He's going a little bit too far, I think.
Oh, he actually dies.
He does. There's no one else around him, and he's showing. And looks
Thompson?
like they might find themselves a kill on Thompson as well. He's got the smoke screen down. He's going to try to disjoint this. Jump forward. He's still chasing after FNG, and he does get the kill, but does end up paying for it.
Okay, not bad. Alliance able to get at least those 2 big kills onto these cores. I see NoTail, he's stacking. He's spending a lot of time stacking for this PA to enable even more so. So Nico Baby, he's still getting all this farm up for himself. However, these stacks are always going to be this looming threat. So Alliance, they have to keep looking for these pressure plays, but it's scary, as we said, for these supports, even for the Tiny. Sure, he's got all this armor built in, but I'm seeing Thompson just wrecking right through anyway.
He's absolutely terrifying. I mean, if I'm a support in this game, I don't want to ever be showing on this map. Because I'm afraid the second that I do, there's going to be a Ricky, and he is just going to murder me.
Yeah, they've got Ghost Scepter, and now they do have Solar Crest on FNG, so they're a lot safer, but these stacks, as we mentioned, Ana, he's got all these buff ups for himself in the game, including that ET Spirit, that aura that's going to come into play later on. A bit more enabled at the moment.
All right, we got another smoke. They're going to be on the hunt here, the side of Alliance. This time it feels like Void might want to get involved. You can see he's moving over, and they see these stacks. They know that Thompson's here. They're going to use the Avalanche. They've got the vision, a little shredder.
Nice.
So they'll get the kill. Nice stomp. We'll
Full
slow
combo.
them down a moment, but rest of OG is hightailing it out of there.
They got Alliance is going to go for the rush. They've got the little shredder plus that Solar Crest. So that nice minus armor coming into play and just some great chain stunning. That's always something that they will have if they do see an opportunity to go for a kill. And Seb, he still doesn't have Blink. Like, he went for the hood. He went for some more greedy build. And it's now taking him some time to get this Blink. And they're missing out on some opportunities. The kill on the Void earlier, maybe if you had Blink, they could get it. Now also this Roche fight, they can't contest.
I was going to ask if it was possible, because Elder Titan, one of the best heroes around the pit, but of course you do have the Faceless Void with the Chronosphere. It's just probably too risky, and without a way to get Seb in the middle of everyone. Oh, he changes. He gets himself that Blink Dagger here. Is going to be able to do some more initiating.
Yeah, he gets it a little bit later than usual, but he's got to be a little bit tankier because of the build-up that he's gone for. Right. And I think that they really want to farm the BKB on PA. They're still probably feeling pretty okay in the game. Sure, Alliance has a good lead and has a good chance still in these like big team fights with that Chronosphere. But whenever Chronosphere is not up, I'm watching Alliance kind of not really able to do a whole lot. OG still has great ways to fight without their big ultimates. So still big eyes on Nico Baby in this game to land those huge ults. As the game later it gets, it just looks harder and harder for Alliance to capitalize versus this Magnus ETPA draft.
I mean, this is one of those instances though where oh, yep, there it is. There's a sleeping dart. Definitely one of those instances where a big Chronosphere though can change the course of the game completely. But again, we have the BKB completed now for Ana. We have a sleeping dart online for the Ricky. They have ways of dealing with this Nico Baby if they can blow him up fast enough, and that's Thompson.
They want to try to get a flank. They want to, both Ana and Thompson want to try to find this Rubik and this Snapfire before the fight goes.
There's the initiation, the silence, the Laguna Blade. Do they have enough damage? They don't. Oh, they managed to go. They take down that Aegis.
FNG.
S4 zipping around. Good stomp, but they again get to stun up Nico Baby, but he's got a decent amount of damage here. FNG does go down while all this is going, but there's the BKB,
Chrono?
but okay, do they have the damage? That's the big question. It looks like they do. This is not looking great for Ana. He's just barely going to be able to get out, but they get the RP off. It looks beautiful now as a follow-up, but the stolen RP, but the stomp on 4 heroes.
Stomped.
It's beautiful follow-up with the LSA. They kill Nico Baby. Ana goes down in the back lines as Limp finds himself a nice pick off, but the rest of the team, they're hunting their hungry Hanskin next to fall. And they're waiting patiently. The silence, they want to make sure that S4 gets taken down right proper.
So much time to set up on OG. The Chrono looks good, catches on to that PA, but they don't have the entirety of the follow-up to bring him down. And the smoke screen comes on top, saves him for a moment. He will go down to the toss at the end of it all, but poor FNG. This is what we're talking about, these poor supports. It's a PA blurring into your back lines, a Ricky just invis walking into your back lines. They get caught pretty early on at the start of the fight.
Very nice. I thought for a second they were going to let him walk away. I didn't see that Earth Splitter getting tossed down.
Yeah, some great ways to split up the fight. Like, look at how there's a whole fight happening on the right, and then if you look at your mini-map during that fight, FNG's being chased by Humble God, by Ana the entire time with that BKB.
Our poor observer is trying so hard to keep count of everything happening in these games.
And this stomp.
RP. The stomp, though. Oh,
the stomp, fixed everything. It looked a little scary, but then, no tail. Beautiful. Gets the cleanup, and yeah, all that damage, and Thompson still being able to just reset constantly. He's got a smile.
Of course he does.
But not for long, as he just dies bottom.
Yep. That'll wipe that smile off the face. There is a skirmish, though, over here in the mid lane. All the wards being dropped immediately, taken down. No tail, nice LSA will come out from Soxa, buy a bit more time. Haystring gets picked up from No Tail. He's just gonna hightail it out of there. Toss up though into the air. Seb is not looking to be so healthy. A stomp. S4 though, he's hungry. Timber chains through. Sees Seb, he's gonna fall. Got Mortimer Kisses getting tossed down, and Anna's playing around over here on the back line. Does get the kill on Hanskin.
Our poor Hanskin. I mean, he's literally just getting hunted. He's 0-6 and 11. He even got a good like spell steal on the RP and all that, but he's really just he's just hunted from all sides. It's like everything. You know, he's like, oh my god, I lived because I have Ghost Scepter. Then a Dragon Slave comes in and finishes him off from left field.
It's a hard knock life for this Rubik. He's trying though. God knows he is trying.
And the thing is, too, is like Alliance is still somehow keeping up a 4K lead during all this when they're not the ones with Empower. You feel like OG maybe because all this chaos and these fights, they'd be the ones getting the better gold lead, but not the case. Alliance fighting back nicely.
The D ward coming out from FNG. I'm sure he's a little nervous, though. Cookie hops away. Soxa with the LSA again. Does have to be careful. Thompson is here, though. Perhaps they can bait something, but I think with Nico Baby showing up, this is just a dead Sox. I don't think they want to try to contest this at all. BKB completed now for Void. He's even more suited to fight now.
Needs it this game so badly. They don't have anything to actually bring him out of that smoke screen. I was checking to see if the Hanskin would buy Shard, the lift to be able to pull him out, but no, he's got BKB now. He's got his own coverage to protect himself versus, in particular, smoke screen and the Lina disables.
Hanskin's like one of the first people to go down each fight, though. I don't think that you can really rely on him in this sense.
Yeah.
And that's
definitely
not his fault. It's just, it's so hard to play against, you know, a PA who is just hunting you.
Yeah, I'm glad Nico Baby got his own solution to be able to deal with all that. As Limp picks himself up an Arcane Rune. And they're actually looking to invade here. They've got Chrono at the ready with that fresh BKB.
Sentries drop down as they creep into the dire jungle, but everyone's already hightailed it out. Question is, do they go up? Do they go up to the high ground here? Looks like they're going to play extra safe. They're still hunting. They're hoping maybe they can grab anyone, but look at the way that OG's moving as well. Smoke will run out, and OJ will dodge successfully.
Alliance just has to be, it's all about like these like positioning things in the fights of how to cover Hanskin, how to cover FNG to make sure they don't just get wrapped around. They do have ways to protect themselves with these Ghost Scepters, but it still is quite scary.
Oh, for sure. They have solutions for those Ghost Scepters, unfortunately, for the side of Alliance, but Nico Baby's doing some great work here. Thompson. Careful there, friend. And this gets picked up for Lina. She's had enough of being immediately murdered. There.
Best item in the game versus Void on supports is always going to be that Aeon Disc. If you do get caught in it, you're fine. And it's just great versus Tiny.
Some more neutral items dropping here. Psychic Headband and Cloak of Flames coming out here for the side of OG. To get the ceremonial... Oh, the Mindbreaker is always nice, too.
Oh, there's some big ones actually. The Psychic Band for Soxa and just ceremonial overall, period, is just always a great pickup, especially on a Rubik. If you do have the availability to hold it, Nico Baby checking out the Roche. 60 seconds till we find out.
Thompson testing the waters a little bit here. Doing a little bit of scouting with the Spirit. Basher completed now for the PA. Another... Man, Limp has gotten so many runes. He activates the Arcane Rune. He's now got a Haste Rune.
I feel like I've seen the Ricky maybe get one. I think he's gotten almost every single power rune this game on Limp.
Look at all these sentries being placed down. They got to be so careful. They land a combo +1. Oof.
And Thompson, he shows himself mid.
He does. He's gonna need some assistance. Can No Tail land the stomp in time? Yes, but Hanskin over there. Toss back. BKB from Limp will take down Thompson. In comes Nico Baby. S4 though, cleaning up No Tail. The splitter already going off. Courier also falls during this fight. He's got the Chronosphere. He's got a fresh BKB. This is very scary right now for OG.
Roche in 40 seconds. Okay, I was just checking. I was like waiting to see what the timer would be. I was like, do they get lucky? Like, there's no ET for 50 seconds, but they don't get super lucky. Still not a bad timer as they're going to set up for top. They even have a deep ward already placed in about 12 seconds ago to watch any rotations coming from the mid lane from OG. So they should be able to secure this one quite freely.
Yeah, Alliance, they're showing that they're worth their grit here.
Yeah, they're doing it right now with the Void carry. Another round of Void carries. It seems to be pretty good right now. 8K lead versus this PA Magnus draft. And now they do have Hanskin still does get it just in case to cover himself as well. He's got a 4-staff. It's still such a good pickup this game versus the Ricky versus Magnus, everything.
I think you gotta
just
have
more
it.
saves.
You gotta have it. All right.
Limp. Gotta be a little careful which way he goes. He does have BKB, but there's a ward to cover him. He'll be safe.
It's all about this next Roche, I think. Yeah, we've got the flamethrower online for S4 for a bit now.
Yeah. He's on a good... That item is just... It's so valuable, especially if you're able into a position to hit buildings, but it's just... Ever since it got added, it's crucial for these Timbers. As OG, they're smoked up.
They have vision. They see that S4 is wandering around the jungle, and they have to know that he's not alone. No one else is showing on this map. Look at the way that Ana's positioned. Saksa will show himself. Thompson needs to be careful, but again, they have the Aeon disc. They'll follow up LSA. They just blow up Limp almost immediately. He's got to buy back. He wants to be a part of this over on the backlines. We got 2 different fights going down here, and Nico Baby is still waiting. He wants to get that perfect chrono, but Seb, he sees him. There it is. He's managed to go. He catches on. He catches Seb, and they go, and they just throw out those kisses. They just blow up Humble God. As Nico Baby's hungry, he wants more. He's got that BKB online. He finds himself yet another kill. Can he grab Saksa? No, Saksa's already pieced out Cub Scout. Now Limp is in the pit. Oh yeah, that was the objective. Oh, Courier does get sniped.
Picture perfect chrono, catching it, the Magnus on the southern end and Ana on the north end. I think the initial jump, Seb blinked in thinking that was his smokescreen, but it was Hanskin's smokescreen. He got silenced. It gets his initiation all weird, and then he gets caught. He actually gets caught in the area of the chronosphere because of that.
Look how twitchy they are about this. They even go, they throw out the dust just in case. But Nico Baby is gonna be able to get himself that Aegis yet again, and we do have the telekinesis where you can target your allies now. So I think now with the 4-staff and the fact that they have this, things look a lot better here.
Yeah, to protect people from just getting focused fire by these two. And here we're gonna see in a second, I think this is where the...
So much focus on S4 over there, but they're not
look,
watching.
Seb, you see how he's silenced there in this replay? He blinked into the smoke screen trying to get Nico Baby, and then he's caught in a weird position for the fight. It's a perfect chrono, really, from Nico Baby.
God, look at the positioning, too, coming out from Alliance, having, the Snapfire over on the cliff side, Hanskin off to the side. Just really nicely done.
OG, though, still looking for chaos.
The little smirk. They are indeed. Thompson needs to be careful. Is going to get tossed up. Links right over to Seb for protection. Dagger, BKB coming out from Limp now as they'll turn around, get the kill on No Tail. Nico Baby's hungry. He's hunting. Humble God over here with the BKB. Can they take down? Oh, yes, that's going to be an Aegis that just crumbles here. As the rest of OG, they've had enough. The hit and run squad is out. Mortimer Kisses get tossed out, hoping maybe they can put a little damage down, but they've already left the area.
OG struggling to really take any straight-on fights. They have to just do some assassination attempts quickly with those BKBs. Alliance, yes, continue to impress, continue to look good inside of these fights, and I believe, like you said, they lost the MKB on the Courier, right? So Void does have it finished, but it's all the way back once the Courier does come back. Saksa?
Saksa's fine here. He's out.
He does force the Aeon Disc as he is TPing out, though, so there won't be that for 100 seconds.
It's hard to kill S4. I'm surprised that they're poking and prodding at him. Thompson continuing, though. Throws out the silence, just being annoying. Throws out the sleep dart. See you later.
Casual 53 armor when he is fully stacked up, since he did take that talent as well. And he's got the Nether Shawl, too, so he's got magic and physical resistances covered.
He is a tank, indeed.
And with this gem too, like I was surprised FNG was the one carrying it. He's been the one carrying it for some time. Guess he's feeling comfortable about his positioning, but that's going to help always so much versus Ricky. And just knowing you're not under vision for some PA blink phantom strike from 1,000 miles away or some blink strike from Ricky, you'll have ways to protect yourself.
I think possibly he's really relying on Hanskin as well to help with the positioning on some of this, since he does have all those tools now. All right.
Hanskin's just scouting this whole time with the Astral Spirit that he stole a few minutes ago.
Feels like a little bit of a game of cat and mouse right now, where OG is just trying to dodge for the most part, and Alliance is searching for whatever they can kind of find.
Yeah, no, definitely. OG's just, they're just scared to make a lot of these plays now. It's like Alliance has gotten so much itemization. It's tough to really kill any of the cores by themselves because they all just have coverage now versus the Riki, versus pretty much all the damage that can come out. You know, BKB and they'll turn. They'll be able to always survive. As I've watched Ana just sitting up in the trees now for about a minute. Isn't even able to find anybody. Him and Seb were waiting for an opportunity, but can't quite get it.
So how does OG play this now, right? Because Alliance is like, oh, hold that thought. Thompson is gonna get tossed up in the air. And it's not looking good for the Riki. Oh, no. Last second, Limp will find it. So yeah, the ball feels firmly in Alliance's favor right now, right? It's in their court. It's their moves. But what does
I think
OG
they just have to wait for the high grounds in particular. Like the Magnus, they need to get some big connections. They need to just watch the positioning for these Chronospheres. But I mean, Nico Babies is starting a huge. He's almost 25 on the Void, and Ana, his BKB is actually just forced by Limp.
He does have the Abyssal, I believe. He just picked it up. So worst case scenario, he could go and use that, but he's out. Nico Baby hunting, though, considering it. They're grouped together. Oh, there it is, the Chronosphere on 2, plus the Mortimer Kisses. They can't do anything for this. They just immediately lose No Tail. They're gonna lose Ana. Buyback coming out from No Tail, but there is no buyback for this Phantom Assassin. That was a bit of a deep dive there.
And that's how you break the, OG, they need a good high ground defense. That's how you break it. You just put a ward in the base and get the initial jump. And now you've got a lot of time. You can actually just go for these Raxes.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're doing. Nico Baby just wailing away over here on this tower. He's all buffed up. He's got himself that Solar Crest on him. S4 is going to tank. It's really nicely done here by Alliance.
I mean, Nico Baby's 25. He's got backtrack. Like, how are you going to kill this guy now?
I mean, that's the question that Alliance was asking themselves in game number 1 when Ana was playing it.
Yep.
Thompson, he wants to jump in. All right, he's going to try to get the jump over onto Limp immediately, though. BKB cookie toss right back in again. Thompson takes a lot of damage, but is still able to walk away. And it looks like Alliance are happy with this.
That's a huge hit. Rax advantage now. They'll be able to back up. They'll get to wait for their Chronosphere to come back for the next fight. Finish up these next few items on the Void in particular. They get out scot-free.
Goodness.
That is a lot of quick maps. That's a lot of HP versus physical and magical. That is a very tanky Timbersaw.
How do you blow that guy up now?
Hope that he doesn't have stacks in some situation where the Riki and PA are beating on him. I think that's probably the best one. Still going to be extremely difficult as even as like Lotus, the Lotus Orb and everything on top too. It's hard as they go on an illusion mid. But they'll finally be able to get that tier 1 mid. 37 minutes and 40 seconds that tower stood.
Pretty happy about that if you're an Alliance fan. No Tail though. Limp. Oh. Second guesses himself a little bit here. Ana going up onto the high ground. Immediate lift. It's looking pretty scary. Thompson, though, getting the jump over here into Nico Baby. Does force out that BKB and a Lotus. Immediately, they got very nervous there. We'll see some of these Snapfire Kisses coming in. Ana, though, dodging around. We'll connect a couple of these over onto Seb. Thompson. Just full-on retreat. Seb,
Chrono's back
look
up.
At him.
They want to chase this out.
They want to go back in.
Nico Baby's ready. He's also got a full Satanic finished up on the as soon as he picks up that Reaver too.
Who gets to jump on who here?
Okay,
all right, they're going to try to make something happen here. They have the BKB toss up into the end. Liv, he gets bashed up over here. The silence, though, over on the Faceless Void. He's not going to be able to get that Chronosphere off right away. Another silence, plus the lockdown. They should be able to just take down Nico. Thompson's still alive after all said and done, but look at these buybacks. Limp's buying back, Nico Baby's buying back. Limp toss up into the air, possibly getting this kill on Seb. He was trying to wind up, was playing around a little bit. Not going to be able to use that RP this time around, but those were some big buybacks coming out from Alliance. I can't believe that they managed to kill him.
Yeah, you definitely take those as OG. As soon as the kill happens, they just instantly start retreating both PA and the Riki since those BKB's down. I can't believe how they actually got the kill on him. I'm still just in shock how Nico Baby does go down there when the initial jump onto Limp had already happened. He just gets completely caught off guard from the silence and stun.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch it here.
Because did he jump into
He goes
the cloud?
into yeah, goes
did
into
jump
cloud. He
into
gets
it.
stunned. I think they turn around with the Ricky silence plus the LSA, and then they just burst him down.
Okay, well, he's got to be a bit more careful, especially now that like they just used buyback on both of the big cores. If they both die, like the game could just abruptly end. It's a PA with a Ricky and a Magnus. Like these two cores now have to be extremely careful on the side of Alliance. A quick turnaround. Like Nico Baby had the Satanic if he had bought it from the side shop, but he doesn't.
Now he has
Now
to
he's dead. He
save up
switches
the pennies
items.
again. He does have the Minotaur horn though. That's pretty nice.
He does.
But
That's a
definitely-
painful hit though. Right around the next Roche going to be spawning in the next few moments too. Like OG probably feel a huge power spike between themselves now.
He still has the Chronosphere though. Anna,
He does.
the hunt is on. They're invading here. Who gets the jump on who though is the question. FNG, the immediate jump. They have the Ghost Scepter, but you know, Lena says, yeah, that's cute. You're still dying. Sleep Dart over onto the Timber. They want to follow this up. They have to be careful because Limp is nearby, but they have that silence. Lift, nope, not enough. They take down S4. The
RP?
The RP was a little bit whiffed there. Seb in the
And it's
stole.
stolen.
It gets stolen by Hanskin. Yeah, so he's going to be very happy to look for any sort of engagement so that his Void has a nice little grouping that he can put a bubble on.
All three cores now have no buyback on the side of Alliance, though, around the next Roche fight. That is terrifying. And we see S4. Sure, you've got all that physical resistance if you have stacks up, but he had 0 stacks when he gets jumped there. He dies.
Well, they should be able to secure themselves this Aegis, and that will help. Knowing that they have... Look at Faceless Wolf. Man, he has so much stuff in his inventory. He does have to hand over the cheese. Aeon just, though, gets picked up now on the Phantom Assassin. She does not want to just get caught in this Chronosphere and immediately die. So Aegis comes out here. Seb on Hanskin uses that RP Ghost Scepter comes out. Cookie hop up into the air and down goes the Seb.
Okay. And Nico Baby's like, guys, like I gotta guard the Roche. I can't pick up
Somebody
cheese
pick
and
this stuff
refresher
up.
shard. Please, someone take it before they come and take it.
Careful,
He's just gonna blow a chrono.
Yeah, you know what? He's found himself a target here. There's nothing that... Well, no, we have to wait for that BKB to end. No Tail was going to try to help. Oh, the Sleeping Dart, though. No Tail turning back around. LSA connects the Lagoon. Are they going to be able to blow him up almost instantly? No, the BKB comes out. So now No Tail, he's got his own Aeon disc. He's going to try to run for his life, looking for the stomp. The Cookie Hop comes out, though, thanks to FNG. So they'll take down No Tail.
80 seconds. Quite a lot of time now.
It is indeed. And
they can
they'll have the
still
Aegis.
pass over, right? They still have the refresher shard?
I believe so. I don't see.
Yeah, they can pass that back over to Nico Baby for the next fight. Maybe be able to catch them off guard on the side of OG. No ET for 70. This could be a huge move for Alliance.
All right. Thompson, considering his opportunity here, does have to be careful.
What did you expect?
Soxa trying to clear up these creep waves again. Thompson jumping over onto S4. Lotus Orb being tossed out. Have to be careful again because Nico
Thompson.
Baby, he's looking for maybe another Chronosphere here. Nice stun up and down goes Thompson. Does have buybacks up. Still nearby. Could be looking for an initiation here. The buyback coming out now from the Ricky LSA connecting from Soxa. They're just trying to push back S4 a little bit. Thompson, Sleep Dart
Anna.
again being used. Another silence. Bottom lane though. Anna is pushing out these waves. Trying to make a little bit of space here. They don't have the Elder Titan just yet. They don't want to go in there without No Tail. And look at this. He's already made his way into the base. He's forced in the creep waves. Cheese is going to get consumed by S4. Have a little snack on his way out.
OG's on
Seb's
full chase.
hunting. Go throughout the shock wave. Anna's teleporting back. Okay, that's going to be the Chronosphere. It doesn't connect over onto Thompson. Can they save him? Yes, they're going to be able to buy a little bit more time here for Seb. He gets the RP up, but Anna jumping in now. Can they blow them up? Can they do enough damage? That's going to be the Aegis down. Anna focusing down over onto S4. Will blink away. He no longer has that BKB. Limp, though, looking for some kills. Is he going to be able to find Thompson buying back? As he's just going to try to keep poking away over here.
Nico Baby.
Do they have it, though? Do they have it? Do they have the bashes? Do they have enough to lock him down? He's so tanky. This is not looking good now for Anna. The Cookie Hop coming out again. That Sleeping Dart has been so valuable, but can they get Anna back in time at the very last second? He almost, no, he goes down. Immediately buying back. No Tail will die. They don't have No Tail. They don't have Seb. The power of Alliance is just knocking on their door right now, battering it down, taking down their buildings.
And Humble God, Ana, without BKB, without A on disc, he's quite scared to just go in. Thompson's not, though.
Thompson's got to do something, right? Has to be careful, though. Did buy back during all of this. That silence. This is looking a little bit rough here for Saksa. As Ana, oh no, as he goes, oh no. They're going to end up losing Humble God. They buy back. They're going back in again. Thompson, he needs assistance. He needs someone to help him out. Saksa trying to help out as much as he can. He's pretty slippery. Seb is back up and running too. But how do you take down Nico, baby?
The 3 tanky cores just alive throughout all of this.
Toss back again. Skewer forward from Seb. He is going to fall, though. As now, Alliance. Oh, Hanskin, though. Thompson does manage to get the little pick off, and they're doing a decent job, but now, oh, Sleeping Dart again coming out. There's no mana left over here. Thompson, I don't think he can do this on his own. Sox is trying everything that he can. They're trying so hard.
Thompson's doing crazy work right now. With the Spell Prism, with the Dart, with the 25, he's actually somehow holds onto the base for enough time that now Tiny's dead for 100, Rubik's dead for 100 since Hanskin bought back and ran into the fight and died again. Now, I mean, OG actually, they live to see another day for the moment.
Thompson, he's going to try to man fight. This is a little bit sketchy here. Sleeping Dart again. Does he have the rest of his team? He's waiting patiently. Another silence. BKB's got to come out from Nico, baby. They use the Laguna. They just don't have quite enough damage. He's going to make it out by the skin of his teeth. Thanks to the fact that just not quite enough damage from the Ags Laguna Blade here. Whew.
My God, this is crazy.
This is a nail biter.
Yeah, Alliance in a very comfortable spot right now, but Thompson's working some magic with the Ethereal Blade, Spell Prism, stuff like that. S4 has a Hex, though, with the gem.
He's got vision. Thompson? Sox is trying anything that he can. This is looking very scary, though. The silence, BKB. He's just waiting.
He's E-bladed.
Waiting. Boop. Bye-bye, Thompson.
He bought time. He bought a significant amount of time. Like, PA and Magnus are back alive. ET is alive. They're going to have another fight in them because of all this craziness from the Ricky and maybe just some craziness from Alliance not looking to just straight up end and looking for too many kills. So, yeah, at least we'll get another fight for it all.
Yeah, Saksa and Thompson really just giving them the what for there in the base. Making sure that they couldn't end the game just yet, but Alliance is coming back. They're getting ready to go right in again. They do have a Shadow Blade online now for Seb.
Gotta be careful to not get caught here.
Yeah. It's gotta, oh my God. S4 just throwing his body up front and center, getting those reactive stacks up and running. Nico baby waiting patiently. Again, they have a gem. Seb has to be so incredibly careful here that he does not get caught. It's a stomp. Ana, front and center. They don't have the Chronosphere. Gonna poke away a little bit over here at S4.
Seb is just waiting for an opportunity. The ward, it's right on top of him.
They've got the vision. They were looking. Gonna throw out a stomp over here as Limp is stuck over in the corner. S4's a bit deep. Throw out the LSA. Just gotta keep staying spread out on the side of OG. But it's just so hard. They're so tanky. A Sleep Dart comes out. Throw out the E-Blade. There's the RP, the pushback. They just need to lock him down for long enough. Are they gonna be able to do it, though, is the question. The cookie comes out, and there's the Laguna Blade coming out, and again, they're just trying to focus down Ana as Seb over here on the side. He's gonna get beat down. Ana's not looking too healthy either. He's gotta run. He's gotta get out of there fast, and he just cannot do it. He's down for 100 as No Tail trying to teleport on out. And Saksa, he's so close to home, but he's not gonna make it. Nico baby, though. Maybe a little bit too far there.
They're all dead. He knows they don't have buyback. It's just the ET versus the World. But Thompson is
Thompson's
coming
back
so.
up, and we saw what he did earlier. There's a possibility that this, I don't think it'll quite be enough to salvage the game at this point, but we could see it. You never know.
He also could just get chain stun.
Oh, yeah, he could just get chain stun, just like that. And, yep, down he goes. And this is looking like a dead No Tail. So Alliance are going to be able to take a game off of OG, and that's got to feel so good. Look at those smiles.
Oh, my God. And you know what? Bless us all as we get a third game. Honestly, that was quite a treat to see. OG with a little bit of weird weird fights and weirdness going out with the draft and some strange items coming out with like Topson doing. This is a very Topson build that he does with the Riki with the E-Blade and stuff like that. But this time it doesn't work. Alliance, after some shaky moves, after losing 3 cores, using those buybacks, looking like a bit of a scary moment for them, they get their stuff together. They're able to actually take the fights versus OG and actually win this game, which was still looking a little bit dicey for some time.
It was, but you really, it's nice to see this time around. Nico Baby had a great laning, and he was still able to hold on to that advantage. And eventually you just get to a point like Limp made some really nice moves as well. S4, again, that Timber Saw is just so powerful, even though it was a little shaky at one point. It was looking a little suspect, but those 3 tanky cores plus the 2 supports, it looked so good. So OG, this time a little bit on the ropes. We'll have to see what they do for game number 3, which I'm very excited for.
You and me both, Moxie. Yeah, looking forward to that 3rd game for sure. We're first going to break down the madness that was game 2. We'll be right back after a break.
My name is Jordan Gilbert, aka Nothing.
Hi, my name is Sue Lee. My handle is Smix. I think it's important for these initiatives to happen. Empathy really, really goes a long way, and it always means so much to us, and I think that's where initiatives like this really help.
I encourage everyone in the community, anytime they see bullying, anytime they see someone getting called names, I encourage you to step up and say something.
Good luck, have fun.
Good luck, have fun.
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Coming into this second game, we said Alliance draft was good, but we couldn't really tell you what was going to happen after that, because we saw in the first game that once the fighting starts, OG just look like, I don't know, crazy good, but also crazy. So it's a little bit of both. This game, we saw Alliance fighting fire with fire. There was a lot of fighting. Loved it. We're going to see a third game. Love it even more. I'm here with Cap and BSJ. And Cap, you believed in Alliance's draft from the get-go. You said S4's Timbersaw would be a key figure here in this game too.
Yeah, I think very often Alliance just needs to have one hero that feels like really strong in 20 minutes. Maybe it wasn't S4's Timbersaw in this game. Maybe it was just the Limb Tiny because, hey,
well,
why
he
not,
did pop off, yeah.
He's the best Tiny in the world, so you might as well give it to him. It was a pretty good game for it as well. I thought it was an interesting, BS and I were talking about this backstage, is the fact that Alliance, they drafted around the Faces Void, but they did it very typical, right?
Yeah.
They draft around the Chronosphere.
Yeah.
Not around the Faces Void right-clicking people. They drafted themselves Snapfire. They've got a Timbersaw to throw damage inside. Even Tiny does that as well. So it definitely felt like team fights were easier for Alliance to be able to execute, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was very impressed with the way OG actually navigated the team fights when they were down by 3,000 or 4,000 gold, like mid-game. But this time, we saw them win the couple fights similar to game one when they were losing, but it just, they had too much fight potential on the side of Alliance in comparison to game one. You don't have a Jug carry who's just a right-clicker, Roche taker, objective taker. You have a Faces Void. So eventually, they were able to win out. He's able to itemize for himself on Nico Baby with the BKB Satanic, all these tanky items. And I don't know, Timbersaw used to fall off. I think this whole new build just doesn't. He used to just be kind of like a creep in the late game that maybe had some auras. But with the Sanj and Kaya and the Ag Shard, you're annoying, man. I don't know. It's cool to see. It's cool to see how the heroes evolved.
Yeah, it really was cool to see how the hero evolved, how the game evolved as well, close until the very last minute. And Purge is going to talk to us about Anna, and I believe about some of Anna's deaths.
Thanks, Shaver. It's not just about Anna's deaths, of course. There's two sides of the story. Somebody has to do a good thing to kill him. For example, Limp here, just showing himself in the mid lane. He had his courier deliver the Blink Dagger hiding in the trees, and as a result, OG felt comfortable going aggressive. Humble God, Anna blinks forward, and as a result, everybody in OG freaks out, realizes, oh God, he's got a Blink Dagger and a Haste Rune. One of Anna's deaths here, that was a little bit unexpected. Really nice play by Limp. And then what does he do? He slaps creeps a little bit, and then realizes, oh, I can go back in. This is the nature of Tiny, right? Seb a little bit too far forward here. He ends up blinking in with the Avatos, the cookie on top. They get another kill. This unlocks the mid-tier 1 tower, something that OG, I believe, didn't get for a very long, if at all, very long time, if at all, throughout the entire game, which is really important when you're playing a Riki. Here's another death for Anna. 18-minute mark. Mag just had died towards the top lane. From the Faces Void, with Timbersaw rotating over and nice disables, as well as a stolen dagger. They had another kill on Anna. These are uncharacteristic kills that we do not see on most of his other performances. And while the start of this fight on the bot tier 1 looked really good for OG, they killed the Aegis on the Faces Void. The Chronosphere comes out, catching Anna, uses BKB to hit the backline, but unfortunately this buys time for them to do a ton of damage to him. He does get a Blink Strike away of the team fight, stays alive just barely here, but after the stolen RP, Tiny is looking right at PA on the right side, and as soon as his sleep ends, he tosses Lina over there, gets the kill, and ends up escaping himself to the trees. Limp just having an amazing performance. Another engagement over here. This is maybe Anna's biggest mistake, potentially, at least in the mid-game team fights here. Now, one thing that's really hurting them is actually time dilation. OG wants to constantly fight, and preventing their abilities from coming off cooldown when they have multiple heroes that can blink around really makes their team fights a little bit harder here. But Anna did not anticipate the Chronosphere from the low ground at this massive range here. Really nicely done by Nico Baby. Helps secure the kill on PA before he gets his BKB off and pushes the team fight towards against OG and in Alliance's favor. So it's kind of didn't happen every single fight. OG had a lot of great engagements, but unfortunately Anna had a couple too many deaths here. And he wasn't able to carry the game.
He was not able to carry the game, and it seems like we had to have Faces Void on the winning team 2 times in a row. Gonna see if we're gonna see him get the light of day in game number 3, because that is where we're headed. We'll be right back after a break for more Alliance versus OG. come out on top between Alliance and OG? We're about to find out as we are heading into game number 3. You're watching DreamLeague Season 15, powered by Intel. And I did not mean to make that earlier rhyme, by the way. Just want to point that out. But I am very excited for this third game, because the first 2 games that we've seen have been pretty darn crazy. And I hope that game 3 is living up to the expectation of the first 2 games. Brian, Cap, we've seen both teams win. Did Alliance figure OG out in game 2? Are we going to see Alliance take this one? Or how is OG going to adapt to make sure that doesn't happen again? Or maybe they can fight better? Or is Faceless Void just going to get banned because he's the winning hero?
I think they're realizing you can't just pick for the lanes. They usually they have strong independent cores like the first game. That's usually what Alliance likes to do. In this game, they went back to the good old team fight. I really think they should stick to it. I think that was the winning recipe for them against OG specifically. Because no matter how far ahead you are, OG will make you fight them till the bitter end to win the game. And if you have not too much team fight against a lot of team fight, doesn't matter how much net worth advantage you have.
Yeah, it's like that phrase about stuns being like the great equalizer. Like 1k MMR versus 9k MMR doesn't really matter. When you're stunned, you're all the same, right? And in some ways, it doesn't matter how good OG is at team fighting.
Yeah, that's a lot of
just
stuns.
Have a lot of team fight.
Yeah, Lion, of course, great with the disables, short cooldowns, massive amount of drains, also prevents illusion heroes from coming out that much. So, a strong opener from Alliance. Doesn't really tell us too much. We have, in terms of the bans, we got the same bans coming out from OG as we've seen in the previous game. And Earth Spirit Pugna, again, banned by Alliance, just like previous game. Grimstroke, though, picked up here for OG.
Yeah, when you see the line, you have 2 options. Either one, to go with a bit of aggression of your own to make sure you threaten heroes like the Lion, or to go for some saves. And they go for the complete opposite of the save route. That doesn't seem like the OG way. They respond to your offense with offense of their own. And I was kind of surprised they didn't pick the Void Spirit last game. I thought they kind of needed a mixed damage core. I know I said Ricky, but I was kind of memeing, to be honest with you. And this game, already they've picked up the tops in Void Spirit with the Grimstroke enabling it. One of the best heroes getting swelled. Reliably gets on top of the heroes you're going for. And seems like it'd be a decent hero against Centaur, because you have the Yules to interrupt the Stampede away.
Yeah, maybe, but Centaur also feels good because he is the beef. The beef? Yeah, the beef. Void Spirit has a limited amount of damage that he can pump out. He's got this combo. He wants to be able to, wacha, boom, boom, bang, bang, you're dead.
Okay, do this again.
That don't happen to Centaur. Wacha, boom, boom, bang, bang, you're dead.
Yeah, very, very good.
I'm gonna try to envision that exact thing happening in game. You know, as he's doing it.
Did you get which spells were? Wacha was him jump.
Yeah, it's just the old
right.
Bang, bang is him like doing the W.
Double Resonant Pulse.
Double Resonant Pulse.
Yeah, that's why there's 2 of them.
Okay. And I can't remember the rest of it, what you did.
Boom, boom, bang, bang.
There was something else.
It was Yule's Void Remnant. That's the combo.
Yeah.
And then Double Resonant Pulse after.
Okay, okay.
Of course.
Great. Thank you for clearing that up.
I followed you there.
I have a question. This is the first game this series that the teams have swapped sides. Anything we can read off that?
Oh, okay. I was like, that's not a question.
That's more like a statement.
We'd be able to tell you more if we knew who took what.
That's true. We don't know.
That's how typical Dota analysis works. You know the outcome first, and then you come up with the reasons.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
So theory crafting wise, all I know about this patch personally is that Dire tends to be much better about like efficiency lineups, like the Mags, for instance, that OG drafted last game. You play more for the stacks, more for the farming of the jungle, while Radiant tends to be favored on like the map in terms of Roche and such. So you play for the. I like to be more objective-based Dota with the Radiant side.
Yeah,
but OG, they're just gonna kill people anyway.
You take early tier 2s, right, and you take that outpost on Radiant side. You feel like you have full control of the Roshan pit at that point.
Yeah. So they ban out the strong safe laners against the Centaur. So, hey guys, I wanted to pick Centaur this patch. Who do I worry about banning? Or in my pubs? Well, this is what Pro Dota can teach you. You see the Monkey King Jug coming out. They're saying that with the Grimstroke is the best kill lanes. On the other hand, OG is saying we don't want these annoying, elusive carries to kill. The Anti-Mage and the Faceless Void. And they go for the Spectre. That actually makes a lot of sense now, because the Spectre does not love matching up against the Anti-Mage, and Void, one of the few heroes that offers enough reliable lockdown to take down the likes of a Spectre.
Yeah, I was kind of curious. I was like, well, you've got Void Spirit, right? Like, can't you hunt down these mobile heroes? But as you said, they're just setting up for the Spectre. All right, so how are they going to beef this Spectre up some more, like they've done in TI's past?
Give them the IO. No, not really. I don't know if you necessarily have to. You just need more team fight. Oh, I love Undying against Spectre.
Nice.
Tombstone. Really does, like, you when the Spectre pushes Haunt, you want to be able to clump up together, but not so close you kind of just die to the AoE of a Grimstroke Void Spirit. And Undying gives you that ability. He plops down the Tombstone and says, we control this area. If you want to fight into it with your Haunt, so be it.
Yeah.
It's just like a natural oh shit button you can push.
He also plays out long, drawn-out team fights really well, which is what Spectre usually prefers. And then on top of that, being able to do enough damage to the Spectre, right? You need to be able to make sure you don't run out of damage. Undying
Damage
with his
amp from the
ultimate,
ult, yeah.
damage amplifiers are very important against Spectre.
And I think the zombies disable Desolate. I'm pretty sure.
That'd be nice for Alliance.
Nice.
So will they pick a Tombstone hitter like Mirana? Is that too basic? That seems too basic for OG.
Snapfire?
Snapfire is kind of...
That's a Tombstone hitter. He has a punch that creates an anime version of the Tombstone.
Yeah, but it... What?
It doesn't actually do that, but it does
No, I
create
was gonna
anime
say-
things of heroes.
It does, but it also does not... Well, it can hit a Tombstone.
Panel now.
It will just hit it very slowly.
True. That is very true.
But if multiple people hit it at the same time, you know, got him.
Is it potential that this Void Spirit is a support?
All right, so Lina's a Tombstone hitter that also combos with Darkseer's Vacuum. I'm going to put that one out there.
So I think Alliance has a much more standard draft. They picked their 3-4 combo in the opener. Natural synergy between those two. You got the tanky guy in front and the reliable stun followed up by the unreliable stun. And then the safe lane, you have the beefy 5 position that's meant to tank for their ranged carry most of the time. And then you have a ranged carry that can capitalize on that early momentum and is well matched up against the opponent offlaner with the Morphling. And I think you're fine to play Morphling in a Spectre too. Seems like a reasonable matchup.
Yeah, for sure. And Morphling, I feel like right now, since the change with the mana cost and everything, Morphling hates being pressured in lane.
Yeah, he does.
It used to be that you could, before the mana cost, you could just go ahead and like, okay, I'm being pressured, but you know, I'll go down to 400 health, pop a healing salve, back to full. You were just too efficient. Nowadays, you have to make sure that you're not dealing with one of those like really oppressive ranged offlaners or something like that. Darkseer usually just gives you free lanes to hit creeps as a carry.
Very good matchup for Morphling. Not only that, because Darkseer, his really only way to win the lane is to wear you down with Ion Shell, and Morphling loves going for either the Ring of Health for the Lincolns or the Morbid Mask for the sustain.
Do you think they're going to go one of those? I have not seen Darkseer plus insert 4-position melee hero that's supposed to combo with Ion Shell. I have not actually seen that be very successful. I feel like I don't know exactly what's changed, but I feel like those kind of dual lanes cannot actually pressure the safe lane carries as much as they used to, and I almost feel like you need to be able to just let the Darkseer sit in lane and farm.
So you don't think we're gonna see a Nyx Assassin?
I know. I'm just asking BSJ what he thinks of that, because that has just been my viewing experience anyway.
Is that this patch? Because I haven't seen
maybe
too
it
much
was previous
Darkseer this
more
patch. I think more importantly, to answer your question, I don't think it's possible for Darkseer to really pressure a Morphling.
Yeah.
Especially when you have the Undying in the picture. It's like you may be able to, even if you kill him once or force out a lot of regen, the Morphling will eventually scale to free farm. I do like the Tiny Band. That was like the one support I could think of that could cause issues in the early game for the Morphling, because he waveforms away and then gets tossed back into the creep wave.
It looks to me like they're banning away mid heroes.
Yeah.
I think Void Spirit is played by
Soxa.
By Soxa, or Darkseer is some weird support.
Yeah.
Overall, last pick is OG, so we're gonna have to find out what Limp's gonna play before he gets to get, clarity on where that Void Spirit is gonna go. Is there any hero in the pool that does okay against Void Spirit and also is okay against something else that might come out that's still strong? And what is good against Void? It was always the Puck band.
I've got this crazy suggestion. I think they might pick DK.
Oh.
Mars.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that...
Out on a limb?
I actually didn't mean it, but I realized when I said it that DK will be the exciting 9th pick for Alliance here.
Yeah, they're really dragging this one out.
Man, it's been a really late
Dragging
night.
it late into the night.
I was thinking it's been a really late night. That's what I was trying to say.
Moxie does not approve.
Wow.
Who would have seen that one coming?
Oh, yeah.
Davion coming out.
Never fails.
Never fails. I mean, it is one of his strongest heroes for Limp.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw him obviously on his God tier Tiny in the previous game, but can't have that go 2 games in a row, so DK it is.
Ooh.
Bristleback.
Okay, so it is
a 4-position
correct
Void
about
Spirit.
the fact that the Thompson's mid last pick.
Oh, he has the Crimson Spectre
Bristleback
piece. That's important.
Against DK, is there something about that I don't know, Brian?
I think it's more so that I think the best way to deal with Morphling and Centaur is these heroes want to be stationary in their own lanes farming, and you want to just run at them. Like, you don't necessarily need to kill them. You just need to make it so they're not killing creeps. Because they need to be on top of the creep wave, tanking it, in order to be efficient with their farming. So I think the whole idea of this pick is that, yeah, eventually they have the Undying, they have like the Morphling who can buy a Scotty, but the pace of the game that Bristleback represents, I think will create a lot of space for Ana, is the goal.
Once again, I see a lot of synergy with the Inkswell, especially the Shard. Bristleback having extra movement speed always feels really good and can just run in, plus you get the heal.
Yep.
Same goes with Spectre, being given both an Inkswell and an Ion Shell, and then potentially just popping ultimate and instantly being on top of somebody in the back line that you feel like you need to kill first in a team fight. It's okay, yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about the Bristleback overall, though.
If this is going to be fights, who's going to win? 5-on-5 fights all the way through. Got an Undying on one side. How can you go against that?
I legit just don't know. I don't know.
I mean, if you're going to talk about 5-on-5 fights, Bristleback is kind of the king at that.
That's what I'm thinking is like that's what they want to do. So I think the idea is that if Ana gets like Manta Diffusal, Morphling does suffer much more against mana burn nowadays. So I'm going to go with OG again, but I like I said, it's kind of just a hunch.
I mean, regardless of who you're favoring here, we're all winners here because we get to see a third game between these two teams, and we're going to watch it together with Moxie and Fogged on the mic.
Man, nothing like some midnight Dota, and I really love the panel's analysis. It feels like BSJ is just completely befuddled at this point, and everyone's like, yeah, it could just be like a weird, this or that. Fogged, what can you tell me about this game?
I don't know. I'm just, I just love when I hear the puns. I'm a big fan of puns. I hang out with Lacoste a lot lately, especially too. I hear the Dragon in the Night. Dragon Knight gets last picked. I'm a happy man over here. And I'm happy that we got this third game. We get to see a Morphling. Haven't gotten to see this hero too much. It's been getting banned some of the situations. And a Bristleback. I mean, a last pick Bristle. This is a treat.
It's always fun to watch the mid Bristleback too. Probably the most memorable one for me was watching Eternal Envy play at mid and then cut the creep wave between the tier 2 and tier 3, and literally nothing could be done about it. It's a little bit different though now. They actually changed things around because of Envy. But I'm excited. I like the fact that we've got some very high octane Dota that's going to be played.
Yes. I think we have some fun stuff too. This is Void Spirit position 4. We don't get to see this hero. It's been nerfed. We don't get to see it as much as we did before, which was like every single game. And it's a position 4, which we really don't see except for I think Liquid's like the only team that like they flex, right? Where Taiga plays something else and Boxy plays like a 3/4 Void Spirit. Or
maybe in Europe, but Matthew over in South America has been playing it forever.
That is true. That is a good point.
So Definitely, though, in the European region, though, it seems like Liquid was the only one who really kind of got on that train here. But
I've been stuck in Europe and CIS. You know, I'm trapped over here, so you got to give me that SA hot news that I don't really get too often anymore.
It's been a while. We haven't seen it quite as recently. Like you said, there were some changes, but you can already see Mr. Davion the Dragon Knight has picked up a stick because he knows what Thompson's going to be tossing at him.
Yep, Limp should be able to farm really nicely here. Thompson might struggle a little bit because you do have that damage reduction that comes into play. It might be a little hard besides just farming with quills. So we'll see how that one does play out. I gotta be honest, I haven't seen Bristle versus DK, but I imagine DK is gonna farm a little harder, then Bristle's gonna hit some jungle camps and catch back up just fine.
So now this is kind of interesting this time around, is the fact that they're not doing a tri-lane here for Ana. They're actually, you know, running the 2-1-2. How do you feel about that? We like that we're changing it a bit?
Quite a bit better, yeah. I feel like Seb, the first game, he got a bit lucky, having like this phenomenal situation with his Bloodseeker. The second game, I think we really got to see him struggle. They were really on top of Seb as that Magnus, so yeah, we'll get to see just, you know, him being enabled a little bit more. And Darkseer needs help. I don't feel like you can leave this hero alone. I mean, you can't really leave Magnus or anything alone either, but Darkseer probably one of those that needs a little bit more love than those, just at least to get the ball rolling.
As part of that, too, the fact that they have that Undying, they just don't want to be too grouped together and giving him those extra stacks. All right.
And Thompson, yeah, so lane, he actually does pretty well in the first few. He's 7-1, does have a couple creeps that he's going to miss, but he's prioritizing just getting a small camp stack.
He's definitely one of those heroes. I mean, we saw it a lot with the Keeper of the Light, right? We saw it earlier, and it's still really nice, though, for being able to take these stacks. Bottle is, of course, online here for Bristle. Going to be able to go and just get that region back up and go fetch one of the water runes.
Yeah. And you always want to have, yeah, we'll definitely see some situations where even Saksa, you know, he's just pulling creeps up here, as you have to do versus this Morphling lane. He'll get to the point where he's stacking Ancients. He's getting Thompson ready for that full jump and spike in net worth. But the way the lanes are sitting right now, Alliance looking to win 3 lanes.
Feels pretty good, definitely. Kinkswell was getting used here on the bottom lane. Ana was doing a little bit of poking over at Hanskin, but probably just wants to go back and hit those creeps.
As he needs to. He's suffering a bit. Spectre versus Centaur. Centaur, the reason we're seeing it being picked so much more. Look at this base damage. 81 with the Bracer. Spectre has 54. And the animation on Centaur is phenomenal. So Ana will continue to suffer down here.
Do we think that...
Limp.
Yeah,
actually getting 6 quill stacks. All right.
It's got 8 wand charges here, though.
Okay.
Or stick charges, rather.
Yeah. And they will start to disappear, those cool spray stacks. But Thompson, he's going to kidnap the wave and now kidnap the bounty rune as well and farm the opposing small camp.
Ooh, efficiency. You love to see it as a Dota player.
Yep. And you love to see when it's like, you know, you're not able to just like beat him in the lane. You got to do something to at least beat him in that efficiency point. So this is a cool move. It's top.
Yeah, top. They were grouped up pretty tight here, but they do have the surge over on Seb, so he's going to be able to just run away. And that'll be the end of that skirmish.
I'm shocked he actually got Tombstone at 2 versus this lane. A very like elusive lane that they're going to have maybe dissimulate points in the surge. I thought he'd just go for Soul Rip for sure, but okay, plops down the Tombstone.
Is it a situation where he considered that they might just get too over-aggressive and he wanted to punish it, or?
Not sure. Maybe he just wants to... honestly, I really think he probably wants to Soul Rip, and he probably regrets that point. It was probably just for an insta-kill, but, you know, when you're playing with Morph too, Soul Rip is just has unbelievable value. Either way.
Still quiet so far here. As you can see, the harass trading back and forth. Do a bit of a hunt as he's going to try to mess with Thompson stack here. Almost managing to get the courier as well.
Just survives. That was the ring of health too. That's Thompson does not want to lose that.
No, he
just
doesn't.
survives
Ooh,
like
top
3
lane.
or 4 HP.
Saksa, it's gonna be Saksa who gets that first blood, but FNG gets his revenge as Nico Baby gets the kill.
Well, worth it for Saksa. He's got his boots. Now he's got an upgraded wand if he chooses to, and he's level 3. Maybe he can make moves to secure the bottom lane a little bit better, as we are still seeing Humble God struggle.
So
or they're gonna refill.
Not an easy life down here for the Spectre.
Nope. And we see he returns top. Seb actually has the bottle finished up on that Darkseer, the popular build that we've seen so much. And FNG, he TP's mid. fills the bottle for Limp, so support's doing their jobs.
Nothing like a water boy.
Yep. Seb should be just fine here. Nico Baby trying to put some harassment onto him. And yeah, these lanes still looking really good for Alliance. The Morphling full free farming, DK full free farming, and even looking to apply some pressure onto mid Limp here with this catapult.
Surprised that we haven't seen any sort of rotation trying to punish this dragon form. But I guess
Sox is starting to move.
That's the only one who can move, right?
Yeah, they don't want to ditch the Spectre entirely. Exactly.
They know that Sox is in that area. They do have the ward up, and they can see the courier scurrying by. Feels like a little bit of waffling here, though. It's taking a while. FNG, though, be able to collect the bounty rune. Okay, No-Tail has made his way over. They're expecting a dive.
Thompson's getting low.
Do they go back in? FNG, though, he drops that tombstone. Thompson is indeed very, very low. Uses the fairy fire. They're going back in. They get the kill. And now FNG is a lonely little island over here on his own. Oh, but the Lion, Hunskin, rotates in. Soxa with the double damage, of course.
And that's the first DK form. It's gotten only 290 damage on the tower. Nice rotations from OG to push that one away.
S4 doing Centaur things now that he has that Vanguard online. It's very difficult to harass him out, but return down to the bottom lane here from No-Tail to help keep Ana safe.
Well, it's also hard to pressure now at this point. He's got the chainmail and he's got the Ring of Health, so he may have had a little bit of a struggle at the start here, but now with these items, they can't actually put the pressure onto the Spectre at all.
Vanguard just feels so good recently.
It's so nice. Centaur is the best one, but like Centaur Axe, like it feels amazing now. Because now like Stout Shield's gone, so that's -2. It's been gone for a while. -250. They made it cheaper and they buffed it. But
Stampede bottom. S4 running away, running around in circles here. Doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of mana. But FNG's courier will get slain while all this is going on.
he's just giving full experience to the Morphling too with his rotation. Now it looks more appropriate that he's put, you know, just Tombstone points because he's so low level. He won't actually have Soul Rip, and Tombstone is infinitely better once the mid game does hit.
Calculated, clearly.
I guess so, right?
You learn something new every day. That Limp working on that Blink Dagger. We saw him get some really nice initiations. Although Hunskin's over here, he's going to poke away at Thompson. He might have gone just perhaps a bit too far here. Looking for the opening. Will land the Impale. Limp spewing away over here. Thompson, though, he's pretty tanky. Yes, that Vanguard. Look at this. Now FNG joining in, has the Tombstone. They finally take down Thompson with those rotations.
He actually takes like 0 damage when Limp hits him. When he does get the block chances, it's pretty funny. But the magic damage does clear him out. And Limp still has some time with his dragon form, so he can actually hit the tower, and there's 15 seconds, no bristle. Already 2K lead off of those very successful lanes.
Yeah, we've seen some very nice rotations coming out as well.
FNG? Ooh, okay, he'll be all right. He still has the Morphling at his side.
He's fine. Papa Morphling's not gonna let him die. Not this time, anyways.
Seb? Yeah, not this time. Seb still was attempting to go for the pressure, but now he'll just cut the wave here. And Nico Baby's still hanging around. He's gonna be able to hit Seb pretty decently.
See, some grouping up again here on the top lane. Looks like Sox is back. And again,
those are stacks. Stacks for Thompson is the name of the game for OG as we look, and we have a triple ancient, and that's actually it. I think they cleared out the other camp that was stacked already.
That's possible. I'm sure Limp is also doing some hunting, keeping an eye on that triangle area as well.
Bottom, S4.
Yeah, S4, they've got the Inkswell, and he's very, very tanky. You have to be careful. That Retaliate feels very, very bad. So, some pressure placed down him. Just trying to make more breathing room for Ana.
Yeah, the max retaliate.
Oh, that chipped vest.
It is pretty threatening.
I mean, we saw that in game 2, right? When the
yeah.
Actually, no, that was that game 1 or game 2?
That was the Void of Ana. That was game 1, right?
That was game 1.
It's all blur now.
It's all a blur. Thompson, though, is throwing his weight around a little bit, trying to ensure that this rune popping up. Ooh, a double damage.
Nice. Nico Baby, though, in the meanwhile, he snuck into the enemy ancient side, and he sees this juicy triple stack.
That ward. Giving him all the info. Can they punish him for this?
They don't know. Seb is starting to move over.
There's movement. There's movement.
He's probably like, oh, where's my rune over here? But he's gonna find a low HP Morphling.
Oh, they've got to be so angry about this here as Nico Baby has to waveform away. Blade Mail is completed now for the Spectre, who's making his way as well. Chip Vest plus the Blade Mail feels pretty good. Got a couple different people that can take stacks.
The absolute dream. Chip Vest just feels so value on carries now. Just built to sit in jungle and farm is still dropping low. Does have to kite them a little bit away.
Gotta be careful because they did have that ward. I think it expired though at this point. Yeah, it's gone now, so.
And he'll get the most of it. So Nico Baby, I think, took away, what, 2 of the Ancients? So not the biggest damage.
I like this. I like this play here. Yeah, with Thompson.
Yep.
So you've got that triangle. You've got your own triangle for your Spectre, and then you can take the enemy triangle with your Bristleback in the top lane, too. Some pressure being placed now over on Nico Baby. The rotation, though, coming out immediately. That Blade Mail, Ana running for his life now. FNG was chasing after him. Pretty hot in pursuit, but Seb does end up falling during this, and Thompson popping that double damage will continue to just farm up the enemy triangle.
And Limp is rotating. His blink is on the courier. They might actually be able to set up for these kills. Thompson, though, is coming in. He is a tanky beast.
No Tail has to be careful here. Thompson just throwing out the goo, throwing out the quills as well. Still
needs to be a little cautious around the Flesh Golem. That amp damage can be annoying. It's Hanskin mid versus Saksa.
This is looking like a dead Saksa here.
Nice plays.
Bet Hanskin wishes he could have gotten some of those stacks up and running. But not quite enough mana that time.
No, it's still decent though. You know, getting that set up for the kill, stops the push. Like Hanskin, he's 6, he's chilling. You know, this is a perfect game right now for Alliance. They're 3K lead. Morphling has no pressure. You just really have this concern a little bit about how big Bristle is, but you know, everything is going perfect for you guys. Like they haven't really made any big aggressive move onto you just yet.
All right, there's this opening there from Saksa plus the haunt. So Hanskin is going to fall. And they'll chase after S4. He's very, very tanky, though. It's very difficult here, that double edge. And he's just scaring everyone away. They'll get the soul bind off, but it's pretty much about it. We'll draw him back. Drop the wall during this, but again.
They have like very little burst damage really on the side of OG. It's all like this little bits of damage, right? Ion Shell, constant damage, your quills, your dispersion, your blade mail, stuff like that. But actual burst is tough. S4.
They're going to try. Okay. Nope, they have the Stampede. They don't have another way to lock him down this time around. They just keep slowing him, though, with all this goo. They're chasing after S4. We've got 4 stacks up. Plus, look at these TPs, though. They have to be careful. There's the Blink 4 coming out from Limp. They'll get the kill on Seb. They'll get the kill on Saksa. And now No-Tail running for his life, as is Thompson. Again, he is very, very tanky. Can No-Tail TP? No, he can't. Nico Baby is here, and he'll be able to clean up. Thompson is left all alone. He's got some wand charges, but there's just so much damage because everyone and their mom is here. But it's space for Ana at the very least. But Alliance are very happy with that skirmish in mid.
They chased S4. He's got Vanguard Hood. He just walks away. They goo him up. They continue chasing him, and his team shows up in full force. And then the fight becomes really tough. Even though your Bristle's so tanky with his own Vanguard and Hood, you're playing into an Amplify. There's a Flesh Golem. You know, that's a straight up 25% amp, so everybody's hitting hard. Morphling already does significant amount of damage, and he's amped. And they even kill bottom. Like Seb died in the entirety of in the midst of all that, just to the solo Morphling too. So big hits from Alliance, all the way up to a 5K lead.
Yeah, I can see it in the replay here, just a waveform forward, and Seb can't do anything as Nico Baby just splashes him.
And he tipped him, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and he tipped him. There it is.
Beautiful. And yeah, we see the chase.
So
like
tanky.
He's so big at this point. Like, look at his damage. Look how much they're hitting him for. It's not a whole lot.
He's even got 4 stacks of all of that goo. He's only got 1 stack of the quills, but like, look at the response. Look at the way Alliance immediately collapses. They're protecting this tower. They realize, okay, they don't have, they don't have Sox, they don't have Seb. Let's punish them for this. And there's just no save here for Thompson at all.
No, I like the Nico Baby even turns into the Bristle, some boogers on him for just to add some insult to injury.
I have a feeling we might see some hairballs later on, though.
Yeah, there's some high chances. Right now, Alliance, I want to see them just keep doing the same things. Yeah. Keep looking for these moves around the map. OG just can't really fight very well. they have to like take really long, drawn-out fights on OG, and right now their heroes just can't actually do that.
Do get the hood picked up on Seb now.
I'm just watching Ana farming at like 10% HP
Scary.
with Morphling pretty
Yes.
close to him.
Terrifying. FNG doing some hunting. They do, of course, have a sentry ward over on the side, so perhaps they saw it.
Oh, they have this ward though up top. It's actually
they see
scouting
him.
Ana, the humble god, and look at Hanskin. He doesn't have finger, but with the two of them, they might just be able to. They're actually gonna bring
They're
one
gonna
more.
jump, open up with the Hex, try to take some of that strength away here. Another couple hits, waveform. Nico Baby says, thank you for the gift.
Wards win games. FNG even started hitting that ward as celebration. I think he attacked it twice while trying to go for the kill. Love it.
Stun up
Thompson.
over in the mid lane. The rest of the team nearby. Blink forward coming out from Limp. Trying to get into position here. Look at the taunt off over onto S4, but he's going to chase after Thompson. He'll back off. Manta completed now for Morphling. He has had so much space.
Him and S4 are just massive at this point. Limp also just naturally also big with this Blink Dagger, finding the catches.
Oh, Soxa was trying to save Seb. Does get the vacuum off. He's got the surge. They don't quite have that catch this time around, so he's going to make it out. No Tail walks into FNG. Nana making his way over. Would love to get himself a nice little candy kill.
He needs any kill he can get on the Spectre. He is very far behind right now.
Yeah, Alliance looking real nice. Very tanky right now. And it's difficult to find that opening currently. How does OG want to play this?
Oh, sorry about that. I had something in my... I was dying for a second. I don't know if you could hear it. I was not able to breathe very good. Okay, we're good. For OG, I think they just need a lot more time. Like, you need to just really be focused more on farming and just fighting around the Spectre haunt, but it's just difficult into these tanky heroes. It's the two big bruisers, the Centaur and the DK, and then even the Morphling. Like, he kind of is that big bruiser because you don't have the control or that big burst damage to take him out.
How do you slow them down? Because Alliance, they know that they are firmly in the driver's seat right now. Look at this. Look at this
push
move.
Central and hope for like a 5-man Darkseer vacuum.
That's a tall order.
Especially when it's level 1. He's actually maxing the Surge this time around. He doesn't really have any great combos, so it's...
Yeah.
I mean, I see why. Like, if you have tanking, sure, you max vacuum,
Oh,
but
they
you don't
want
have combos.
Ana. Dragon Tail forward. FNG joining on in. They get all the lockdown over here. This is not looking good here for the Spectre. The finger comes out. Hanskin gets his first stack. And Nico Baby continues to hit the creeps.
It's a tough game for OG to really do much of anything. With how Alliance just get this heads up start, and also just I like the Alliance draft overall. It looks neat, it looks nice. OG's is a little bit more crazy with this bristleback mid. You know, they're pretty much have no actual point click stuns. They have the Aether Remnant from the Void Spirit, and then they have the Grimstroke. That's like it.
All right, they're headed towards this pit. Inkswell
This
over
could
here
be
on
decent.
Thompson. He's gonna go run in immediately. I'm not sure about this fight, though. They get the soul bind off, and they'll go drop the wall with the vacuum combo. It's beautiful. Can they get anything else done, though? Do they have this damage? They're chasing down FNG on the back lines. Looks like Undying. He will fall, and now they'll try to focus over onto S4. They do have the damage this time around. They'll slay him. And they'll walk into the pit and try to claim this Roche for themselves. Nico Baby, of course, still around. They don't quite have that vision. They've got the sentry up, but...
That's crazy though. Was that still the level 1 vacuum or did he hit 2? Because he caught literally the perfect vacuum.
2.
The tombstone was right in the middle of it all too, so they just focus fired the tomb. Not really the best placement there from FNG as OG is just able to turn for it. And now, even getting another kill and the Roche. Okay.
And they get Hanskin
Game has
apparently.
changed.
There's the Aegis online. Nico has to be careful. What's he doing over here? They're throwing out the silence. He's gonna be able to waveform out. And they found some bigger fish to fry. They found Limp over here. Start stacking up Quills, Goo, just vacuuming them right back in again. And while this is going on in the top lane, they find FNG. They have to use that Stampede to try to save Limp, but he still can't run away. He's got too much stacks of Goo and nastiness all over him. Thompson just runs him down. The slow death is the most painful one. Nico Baby spots himself Seb, waveforms forward, sees No Tail, but the silence, can they get the Inkswell off? No, not quite in time. Nice stomp coming out from S4, double edge taunt throwing right back in though here from Sox, so they'll be able to take down Seb. No Tail already falling, and eventually they will end up getting a triple kill, but Thompson's still hunting. He wants Hanskin. He's got to be able to find it. Does have to be a little bit careful here. He's all alone, just tossing out all this goose stomp comes out again from S4, that double edge. Thompson needing to be so careful. He's trying to body block a little bit. Can they do enough damage with these close? Humble God is here though. He's going to be able to back up Thompson. And it looks like they'll allow him to walk away.
What an insane series of events. I cannot believe that OG, yeah, they somehow can take this fight into these incredibly tanky cores, continue to lead the charge. That was crazy. Like, look at this.
Double silence, the wall, look at this. Oh,
it's just beautiful. Like, it actually hits on everybody. And we see the tombstone. Look where it's placed. If it was put on the side, maybe it wouldn't have gotten so much attention, but because it's right in the midst of everything, OG can just turn and hit it right away. So a little bit of mistakes there coming out from Alliance. OG capitalized on it heavily when they needed it the most.
I mean, they're still looking fine here on the side of Alliance, right?
Yeah. They're still looking pretty good with the Morphling, but the scare is that Spectre will get to some stages, some points in the game where you start to outnumber this Morphling, and he has a pretty good item build that he can go this game because he's into tanky DK, tanky Centaur, and tanky and strength Morphling. So Scotty has such increased value if he does go for it.
Definitely looks like he's going for it. Nico Baby also has that in his plans as well. I gotta be careful.
Similar. Reduce the healing from that bristle, just the increased slows will be really nice, and just amazing Morphling item in general.
Got the
Thompson. Whoop.
The tankiness coming out from the side of OG now, because also you've got Seb, right? You've already got a Bristle Pack. He's got himself a Vanguard, and he's got himself the Hood of Defiance. You have the same items on Seb. They're just beefing up here.
Yep. They really like their damage mitigation, damage manipulations. I know that was one of the biggest things that OG did at TI, the IO, Spectre, Stampede, etc. damage reduction. So yeah, Pipe plus that Spectre, really strong. If he goes for Crimson Guard too, same thing. Gonna be very effective as S4 shows himself up top.
I think he's all right.
Guess he wants to show some attention, force some type of reaction while the rest of the team is making a move. Okay, yeah, this is actually really nice by S4 if this works.
Thompson doesn't realize there are so many people about to collapse upon him. They jump on back lines. They see where No Tail is. He's trying to proc. Okay, the Inkswell buys just a little bit more time as Thompson is just running around circles. They do manage to get the Soul Bind off, though. They need something else to combo Thompson. All that mana is just disappearing as Seb is getting punched by FNG. The Surge comes out. Waveform here from Nico Baby. Can they finish him off? Yes, it's another finger kill for Hanskin now as Limp seeing if there's any stragglers. Everybody else seems to have cleared the area, though.
Hanskin just, I love it this game. He knows he doesn't need to max Hex. I actually saw that he was 3-1-4 skill build earlier on. Just knows he needs to just mana drain this Bristleback when he overcommits. He even bought the Shard before going for Blink Dagger. Just wants to be magic immune. All his job is going to be in fights is just mana drain targets.
How do you feel about that Shard? Because it feels real silly that he can be magic immune.
I really like it. I think there's so many little things you can do with it. Like, if there's a stun like flying at you, you can like preemptively cast the mana drains. Also, when you get to like level 20, you mana drain your teammates and it makes you magic immune inside the fights too. It's cute. You know, it's a cute, fun item.
Okay. Bottom lane, Seb. The gank squad has arrived and they hit their mark.
Godlike on Nico Baby.
He's playing very, very well this game. Step 4 though, coming up from Soxa. Gonna try to pick off FNG here. Because of the Soul Whip, it's gonna be able to save him just a little bit longer, but Ana finds the kill. No Tail over in mid. That Inkswell has been coming in handy. Plus the Phantom's Embrace, of course, as well. But bottom lane, Nico getting poked away by Thompson. Should be absolutely fine here. Does have that Scotty completed as well. Step 4, waiting patiently, wants to bait him in, but Soxa makes his own rotation here. Do they have enough damage? Thompson, he's taking so much, and plus that mana drain doesn't have anything, so the Soulbind comes out from No Tail, but they don't have the damage because Humble God is just chasing Hanskin over on the back lines. They get the kill on No Tail. He can't even find him. He can't quite get it. At the last second, there it is. Finds kill on Hanskin, but now he has to be careful because Nico Baby, hunting on his own, turns himself into his own Spectre. That Scotty doesn't feel very good. Oh, look at that. The double stop from S4. He just predicts it. Beautifully done. As Seb, he's going to be the next one to die. And Humble God popping that blade mail here, just scurrying back into his base.
Alliance just taking the heads-up moves every time and just such quick movements. You know, the top hit kill happens, nobody reacts, which was great. You know, they just let FNG die. They continue making their move bottom with Nico Baby and S4, and the backup arrives. They actually just kill Thompson. It didn't even look like a bristle back there. He died very easily because of this Scotty pickup.
They're just playing so fast on the side of Alliance. Oh, look at that aggression. They just blow up No-Tail. Easy peasy. Saksa now not looking too healthy. Limp has that BKB as Thompson trying to hunt, trying to just get these stacks up and running, but S4 has had this perfect positioning as he gets the double stuff off again, and they'll take down Ana. FNG building up some of this goo, some of the stacks. Thompson will be able to quill him to death. Nico Baby sitting very low over here in the corner. He's considering going back in. He's got Limp there. He's got S4. They've got the stuns. They find the opening over here on Seb. The stomp comes through over on 2 yet again. Seb falls. Saksa tries to run away.
Nice
He's
stun.
not going to be able to as they find their kill. And now the slow, painful death of Thompson. Alliance is just on fire.
Yeah, they just like snowballed out of control in these last few moments. Thompson just respawned, died. Seb runs in to go save his buddy, dies. Ana, same thing. Alliance have found their footing in this game for sure.
Well, we're not seeing any Gs get dropped here.
No, they still have the outer towers, and OG, they're not a team to ever really give up when they do have the Spectre. It's such a commanding position, though, for this Morphling, for Nico Baby now. They have Roche on the horizon soon. They should have another full item coming out for him, I believe. And it's a full BKB, so he already looked pretty immortal. Throw that on top.
I mean, he is immortal. He's 13-0 and 8 fogged.
It's true.
He has not
21
died.
of 25 kills as well.
Ooh.
And he's actually going to run right
He's
into
walking right into Ana.
And there's a lion pretty
Look
close,
at them.
too.
They turned right around immediately. Look at Hanskin. It's just trying to catch up here. They have to be careful. They have to protect Ana. They have to make sure that they don't fall into a trap here. Silence. Saksa hoping maybe they can get this kill. All right, they'll find the kill. Ana still looking. Would love to grab Hanskin here. But the stop over on the back lines, they just immediately take out Seb. Hanskin does get chased down, but these BKBs, they're looking really nice. Thompson trying everything he can, just trying to stack it up, and he is doing a decent amount of damage now. S4 forced to run away, but Nico Baby, he wants Ana. He wants this, he blows him up. Down goes the Spectre. Does have buyback. Inkswell over on the backside, but it's not going to be able to keep them alive for much longer as No-Tail's running for his life. But Thompson still caught in the middle of 3. Saksa just trying to run away. Nico Baby finds yet another kill, and he's going for an ultra.
They try to battle back. They get a decent, well, I say a decent jump. They get a jump with the Spectre Haunt to try to get an insta-kill, but Seb, time and time again, getting controlled, and Alliance, they're looking too big right now. There's no way that OG can take these fights into this immense 17-0 Morphling who just stands his ground and kills the Spectre through everything.
He's a big boy, and it wasn't even an instant kill. It took so long. Shout out to S4. His positioning has been so damn good this game. My God.
He is doing an excellent job this game, yeah. He's really making up for everything that went wrong in that first game. Yeah. They're always getting the right connections on the stuns. Him and Limp. These beefy brothers just jumping into the back lines, always getting on top of Seb, not letting him get those vacuum combos that we saw. The only fight that OG won was because of some crazy vacuums, so Alliance just know who to target this time. And Nico Baby, yeah, he's feeling himself for sure when you're having this type of Morphling game.
That was like a war cry right there, I have a feeling. But OG, they smoke up out of the base. Gonna see if they can get there. They keep running into so many of them, though. Again, FNG, the first one to break the smoke. Generally, Nico is here, though. Waiting patiently. Saksa jumping in. And they're gonna try to connect, but it doesn't matter. He goes right into his death as Nico Baby pops that BKB. They already dropped the wall. They're hunting yet again. The courier goes down. Hanskin trying to drain again. And again, look at these beautiful stops coming out from S4. They drain so much of Thompson's mana during all this. They have a Shiva's online, and they're just kiting Thompson. And yes, he's got a lot of stacks over here, and they managed to take down S4, but they'll take down Thompson. Limp was hunting on his back lines. Gonna miss No-Tail.
S4 will take that. He's the sacrifice. These stuns, again, he lands a two-man connection. Limp gets to pick and choose what target he wants. Nico Baby's just free hitting the whole time.
Are they?
You couldn't ask for more from
They're
your
just
offlane in
going
this
for
game.
the end.
Might as well.
They're feeling strong. They're feeling
Bottom's too
mighty
far.
over here.
They've won consecutive fights over and over again. No buyback on the Spectre still. Sox is looking for something.
I mean, he's got the Inkswell. They got to make some sort of play. All right, there's going to be the buyback. The Haunt coming through. They'll clean up Hanskin. They won't have that control. FNG trying to teleport out. Looks like he's going to be able to do it as they're hunting down Limp. He's got the Phantom's Embrace on him. So he's got Silence plus that Inkswell. They finally slay the Dragon Knight. But
What's the buyback?
They have yet to slay the Morphling.
Yeah, and they did have to use that buyback so that they didn't lose the game. They had to take that fight right there. So they will live to see a few more moments in this game, but I think Alliance just wait. Or, I mean, if they do want to go for the big play, look for that Roche, but let's say Nico Baby, I think him and FNG might just be able to run into this and fight until their teammates do revive, because they are very strong on these two.
Yeah, look at the scan. They know immediately where they are. They've got the Satanic online now for Nico Baby. How cheeky do we get? Buyback now from the DK. FNG showing front and center here.
Tombstone's in.
They start putting pressure over onto Seb. He drops the wall. Go right through on the back line. So again, they get this jump over here. Can they do enough damage? Yep, S4 cleans up over onto Soxa. Ana, he's got the blade mail, but it doesn't seem to be doing a whole heck of a lot to them because they're just so damn tanky. And they're going to chase after the Spectre. They want this so very badly. And they'll manage to go. The Soulbind does finally connect. They're still just chasing after Ana. They want this kill. The dodge, though, can they do it? Can they finally slay him? Will they be able to run after him? Oh, God, yes. Ana goes down. And Thompson now is his own little island here. The stun, the control coming out from Alliance. It looks so gosh darn good as they're just chunking away over here at Thompson. He can't do anything. He's quilling. He's trying. Nico Baby comes over and says, oh, for me, you shouldn't have.
Poor Thompson in that fight. He just got stuck in zombies because of the tombstone, and then just is getting mana drained while stuck inside of it. He's just panicking, trying to move, but either way, Spectre, poor Ana, gets chased out from this wonderful Nico Baby. 21-09, level 25, the perfect game.
My God. OG, they're trying. They need to get something here. Maybe they could take down a support. They take down Hanskin. It's about the best that Soxa can possibly hope for here with no tail currently. Seb, he's trying to punch over here, but he can't do it, and they're just going for the finish. They just want to end this. Soxa, okay, they get a nice vacuum. What else can they do here, though? They get the stun. Look at that damage, but the BKB from Nico Baby, it just doesn't matter. He's got the Satanic. He just chases Seb. Not going to go into that fountain. Not going to die. Soxa trying to step away, trying to just buy a little bit more time, but he cannot do it. Seb, there it is. The G's are dropped. And today, Alliance has proven that gods do indeed bleed.
Yeah, and man, Nico Baby absolutely popping off this game. Limp with his very stable Dragon Knight this time, it does work. And S4 really making up for that first game. His Centaur performance this time around, pretty much flawless. I think he's got like, I don't even know how many 2 or 3 man stuns onto the perfect targets too. He was always finding Seb and then also finding Ana afterwards. Alliance, this time they take it and looking really good in this one. OG with a little bit more of a weird draft, this time just really not working out. I think things just started crumbling a bit too fast, and yeah, they couldn't actually make this Bristleback work. Way too much HP reduction coming out from Alliance once they did get those items online.
It just felt like they got just so incredibly tanky after a certain point that there just wasn't enough damage. Like they were maybe just waiting a little bit too much for that late game, trying to make, the space for Ana, but they just never really gave him that breathing room this time around. And like we said, S4 MVP for me, honestly, because he was just always in the right position to make these engagements work. And again, with the counter initiation, all of that looked absolutely fantastic. Nico Baby's Morphling was just insane. No deaths at all. A perfect game. So Alliance has to be feeling so good right now. And OG, they proved that they can bleed. So be very interested to see what the next drafts coming out from OG are going to be. And if Alliance can keep up this momentum, because I think now they're sitting at the top spot.
You are correct. It is Alliance that have taken the top slot at the Western European DPC League. It's with the 2-0. We're going to break down Game 3 and hopefully talk to one of the winners after the break. start of the game was again in the hands of Alliance. We've seen that before. Normally OG will make a comeback, it will fight. This time round, Alliance was very well prepared for that. Sure, there were some glimmers of light for OG, but overall, it was the Nico Baby show, it was the S4 show, and I could go on like that, but we can just call it the Alliance show. What performance here. Third game, they do prove that they are the strongest team here. And I'm joined by Cap and BSJ, and we are going to sing Alliance's praises for a little bit because I think, Cap, they deserve that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that the Undying pick in particular really shown, and that's not very often you could say that about a fight position. That like what he was able to do in team fights for them, the damage amplification that they're able to pull it on, both the Spectre and the Bristleback. And what I think the most notable thing was Alliance and their movements around the map. They really understood like, okay, these OG guys, man, they really like the team fight and stuff. They love to be able to take on these 5-on-5s. Let's just make sure we are bringing all 5 of our members to every single tower defense. Every single time Thompson thinks he can, you know, dive past a tier 1 tower or whatever, let's make sure everyone's there.
Yeah, you know OG is going to bring everybody. So the only logical response is you also bring everybody. Yeah. It seems like OG was quite content to give Nico Baby a good start in all 3 games this series. And I think the only difference between game 2 and 3 and game 1, which they lost, was they had the superior team fight. Yeah, you're talking about Spectre, you're talking about Darkseer. They have, like, it seems like on paper that's a lot of team fight, but they conceptually countered it so well with that Undying, as you mentioned. Like, you just, those 2 heroes with the wall and the haunt control a specific area, and that's exactly what Undying does. He's talked about in the draft. It's a 5 position, so you're not dedicating any of your cores to doing. So they drafted, I think, 9 tanky cores this series, right? They didn't draft, like, any mobile anything. It was just a bunch of beefy strength or morphling. I mean, Jug I'd also consider kind of a...
I guess there was a lion.
I'm saying
kind of squishy, but it's not
I'm saying
core.
The Lions sticking to a plan.
Yeah.
So I like that they have their own style. They're kind of predictable in their drafts, but they throw a little tweaks here and there. Like the
They're
Lions
really good at what they know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
And that's like all important. You only need so many strategies to be able to win tournaments, right? And
Indeed.
Alliance have perfected theirs.
They definitely have, and I feel like that first game also just put them on the same page as OG in terms of fighting potential, so that made it even more enjoyable to watch. For this third game, we're going to hear what Purge made of the side of OG.
Thanks, Shiver. The Spectre pick was not that uncommon for the current meta, but the downside is that Spectre, when not paired with a Warlock, is going to struggle a little bit in lane, especially against a strong hero of Centaur, arguably the best. I'm going to stay in the lane and fight you offlane hero. Now, even though he had the chipped vest and he got Blade Mail at a reasonably good time here, he took a ton of damage every time that he cleared Ancients. Imagine if he has a Vanguard here, he's completely full HP. I don't know if it's necessarily justified to spend that gold to get that slight acceleration, but what other teams do is they throw support there briefly, they drop a Shadow Ward and a healing salve on their carry, and it keeps them accelerating. And this ended up costing him at the 14-minute mark here. He had 1 kill on the board, he's farming fine, but not nearly as good as Morphling. They end up rotating over the 2 supports, they commit a Stampede as well, and guess who shows up? The homing missile of Morphling to pick up the gold and acceleration. This kind of happened a bunch of times. And then the downside is that even though Spectre got pressured a couple times, Bristleback just didn't quite feel valuable enough this game, in my opinion. They were able to force down the mid-tier 1 tower, which was good, but it didn't quite give Spectre enough space on the map. He ends up getting killed here, and then later on, the guy that's supposed to be really effective, Bristleback, just doesn't feel so. The main issues are, number 1, you have a Dragonite on the enemy team, tons of armor, Morphling, tons of armor, and Centaur as well can build into a huge amount of armor if he wants, including the armor talent of 15, which he chose not to get this game. But if you're going to go lifesteal, spell lifesteal, Bristleback, you want the people that you're quill spraying to have low armor, because if you do less damage, you get less lifesteal back. And the problem was they were behind this game. They had a Scotty picked up on Morphling here at the 20-freaking-minute mark, and then later on it was just made worse by Ashivas here 24 minutes in on the Centaur. So the amount of heal that he could get despite the high armor was even less, making his hero tanky, but not enough damage and not enough mitigation to ultimately give their team a win. So kind of a cool draft, but didn't quite get up to speed, and they didn't win fights hard enough.
They did not indeed get up to speed. Speed was all on the side of Alliance as they make quick moves and they make OG feel the pain. And we are joined by Limp at the moment. Congratulations on the series, Limp.
Thank you, thank you.
I mean that was a mad series from a viewer perspective, so I can only imagine how it was for you. But I would like to also ask, like, how was that series for you guys?
It was really fun to play. I think I'm not super happy about my own performance, but my team played really well.
What?
It was fun.
Dude, your Tiny in game 2 popped off, so don't.
It popped off, but you know there was a lot. It was a lot of improvements to make, but whatever, we won. I'm happy.
Good. Yeah, definitely well-deserved victory. After game 1, what was the main lesson you learned, you think, that you implemented in the other 2 games so that you can come out ahead at the end of the series?
I think just play calm and not get baited by their plays. I mean, they're very good at playing on our mistakes, I think. And we just need to keep our composure and play our game.
It's a little bit of a habit for you guys to lose game 1 and then come back with the other 2 games. Is that a chosen style? I mean, I know it's not, but
it's a strat.
It's a
non-strat. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm here with BSJ and Cap. They'd also like to ask you some questions.
I think everyone's got a wish list, and for heroes they're hoping to get buffed in a patch so that they get to play them. Is there a hero you would consider your favorite more so than Tiny that's been a classic for you?
No, Tiny is definitely my favorite hero.
We love watching you play it. And my question would be, do you think it feels any different than it did 5 years ago to play that hero in the mid lane?
Oh, it's hard to say. I mean, I think the tree grab has been worked on a lot, different ways, but I think it's pretty much the same. Yeah, it's hard to say. It's just the metas have been shifted a lot, but the mid lane is kind of the same. Right now, it's pretty nice with the water runes and stuff. You can use your mana a lot.
I just remember dying to your Tiny way back in the day, so I was just curious if it's changed at all.
Yeah, I farmed you a lot in any pubs, I think.
You know, I found what you said at the start here really inspiring. The fact that you felt like you weren't satisfied with your own performance. That's a champion's kind of mentality. What are some of the mistakes, if you can list any? Are there any sort of mistakes that you felt like you learned from game 1, game 2, game 3? Anything that you felt like, okay, this is something I need to work on?
Used to stay more like just watch their heroes and watch their items. Like I think I jumped like Lina once with A on disc. I jumped. I just like I see Ricky going for my void and I just use a stun instead of just jumping in the back line. Stuff like this. Just basically I play a lot of Blink Initiator, so just jumping the right targets in these games.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, thank you so much, Limp. I know it's late, so we're gonna let you go celebrate with your team, or probably just perhaps just go to bed after that series. Congratulations once again. You're top of the charts here at the DPC League, and yeah, love to watch you play some more Dota in the future.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. And I mean, that was Alliance stellar performance. We can, I believe, take a look at the standings because Alliance is the first team to get 2 series victory. Last week, they had a 2-1 against Team Liquid. This time around, they have a 2-1 against OG. And if you were to ask me before today, I would have said OG was the favorite coming in, but I am absolutely impressed by Alliance performance here today, especially the way they adapted from game 1 to game 2 and 3.
Yeah, biggest thing for me is their bounce back from the major performance.
Yeah.
They easily could have crumbled as a team, mentality-wise, and they clearly reorganized their thoughts, came prepared for a new patch, did their theory crafting and such, and as Cap said, they are very good at what they do.
Yeah, I think they have like a very developed style by now. We've seen a year and a half of similar stories from Alliance, the way they like to be able to play around